Forces a jump with it this time, and they both stand shielding in the gun smoke, but eventually they both back off again. Pops him up with a bomb and finally gets an up air right there.
He was so dangerous, and if it connected, it was likely to stock. So many things can kill Trajan now at 167. They cannot afford another strong hit here. Staying up high, and they go for the downer on the platform, and Kiwi is there.
But not like that. As soon as it gets that PK fire into the grab, a little bit of a scramble situation, knowing that the laser's gonna come out.
Gets nared away instead. Arrow doesn't land. Neither of them get to the stage. They get back aired instead. All the way across they go. Bomb in hand. They get side beat as well. And the falling hitbox will lead to the up smash. The dangerous opportunity here. 86% again. Rolls in. This time he gets caught. Sweet spot back air. And that will do it out. Gyro on the opposite side of the stage. Dash attack catches the landing. But they will not find the stock quite yet. Forward air will knock Kiwi away once more. They recover high. And they will get caught by the up air. From the right side of center stage. High recovery here from Kiwi. They'll land it onto the hydrant. But they won't be able to connect it. And that's another aerial. And this one will do the trick. A nair instead. Gamer Dog surviving. And we talked about it before. You mentioned touch of death character if they find the opening. Another absorb, back to zero. Gyro is out and in play. He get it in his hands though. He wanted it at the last moment, but won't be able to get the back throw off the mash out. Maybe let him get out instead. Damage being racked up. Linny recovering low here, and he cannot really challenge. Now a grab back throw, and it's one stock apiece.
And we've seen now Tony. Oh! What?
It's Fizz Rain here on Tree. That's defending it proper, and they might be able to make magic happen with 2K. Can they pull off a third? No. Braindead might be able to have a wonderful shot. Thrash doesn't see him. A Rolling Thunder is going to push everyone away from C main, but Braindead is in the perfect position.
Oh my god, Braindead, there's no way. It's just kind of that holding pattern that we're going to see. There's going to be a nice stun. Oh, here's the opportunity that you needed, but nobody checks it. Doesn't boot goes down. Braindead going to be able to find two. Make it
Welcome in, everybody, to the ECAC Elite League of Legends semifinals between Kean University and Farmingdale State College. My name is Yanni. I am joined here by my partner in crime, Shibby. Shibby, we have an awesome best of 5 slated tonight between two teams who finished top 2 in their specific group.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously super familiar with Farmingdale. They competed last year, I believe, in CLOL. They've maintained, I think, pretty much a lot of the same roster here. So I'm kind of excited to see how they perform in this semifinals matchup. Tough task ahead of them. I think, we got a 5-game series potential here. Kean, no slouches at all. So, yeah, I'm excited to see a top 32 team face off against Kean today.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting series, to say the least, Shibby, because these teams, despite how great their seasons have been, they've had a lot of differences to them, right? Farmingdale has not dropped a game the entire year, including last week's playoff match, right? On the other side, Kean, they've dropped a game in every single set that they won, and they did lose one set, and it was to Farmingdale. They got 2-0'd by them. So it just feels like a tale of two different teams here. Kean, it might be a bit of an uphill battle for them.
Yeah, Kean revenge match for Farmingdale, right? Like, they want to kind of shut them up. I know they lost in the regular season. It doesn't matter. When you're in the playoffs, Yanni, what do I like to say? You're 0-0 every week. It doesn't matter at that point, and I think we are in for a very good series here. Yanni, I think these two teams are also ready to get into it, as Farmingdale on the blue side here with French Delta Force in the top lane, Bubba Blue in jungle, My Froggy in the mid lane, Hot in the bot lane role, and Zukima in the support role. And on Kane's side, we've got Knights, Wanna, Boat Chicken, Gary, DJB, and Star G rounding out that roster. And with the way the CLOL meta has been, and with the way professional meta has been on patch 14.7, are you expecting anything too crazy out here, or are we going to see the same stock standard, Ari, Viego, that kind of stuff?
Well, given the fact that Talia was the first ban and Viego's at least being hovered for the second ban, I feel like we might be seeing some stock standard here. But Zukima, known to play some really wacky champions, is really held in check by the rest of the team in draft. We'll see if we see anything super crazy in the series, because as you know, Shibby, a best of 5 series, it starts to go longer. You never know who's going to pull out what champion.
Yeah, especially in the semifinals, right? Some people like to save strats. I'm on the side of play everything you've got. Don't go home thinking, man, if I would have played this champion, or I would have picked this in the top lane or this in the mid lane, we probably would have had a better chance. I think you try everything you can and then move on to the next week when that bridge comes here. But Kean banning out the Viego, banning out the Jace here. Rel being removed. Interesting, right? Because Rel was or used to be a flex pick for the jungle until she got absolutely gutted and has only been relegated to support. We haven't even seen her that much played recently. So, yeah, you cry a tear. I used to like to play her jungle, but I think at least both of these teams have a very solid plan around it, right? Not giving a strong solo lane over to Froggy or French Delta Force here that can flex the Jace. Banning out Bubba Blue smartly, right? With the Eve, with the Viego. This guy can just 1v9 a game on certain champions.
Yeah, you have to take that one off the table, especially because the champion itself is just so disgusting. I don't want to ever have to cast that champion. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I hate Evelynn so much. We are going to see first pick coming out here for Nautilus. This is a contested pick between both of the teams. Both of these support players are known for their Nautilus. Get that taken away. We are going to see Vi get picked up for the side of Kean. So, as I said, Shibby, stock standard it looks like.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially opening game, right? Game one, you want to try to understand where they're at. Like, are they better? Are they worse? Farmingdale, this is probably a game for them to be like, well, we 2-0'd them in the regular season. Have they improved? Can they stack up against us? Or do we have to start busting out some of the secret strategies here? Breaking up that Zyra duo as well is very smart for Kean here. Hot and Tsuchima will opt in to play that pretty regularly, so I think I like that from them here. But that leaves open a very strong pick in the Jinx that we get locked in here. One of the best AD carries on the patch right now. I feel like Jinx, Zeri, the late game hyperscaling AD carries are back in, and I feel like we don't really know how to play with or against them as teams right now.
Yeah, I am interested to see what Farmingdale does here, if they want to go for another carry-oriented pick in the mid lane, or if they're going to go with the Hui, which Hui can certainly deal quite a bit of damage. I just personally don't see Hui as like this champion will carry the game type of champion as much as I do Jinx, which, you know, this pick is a surprise then, because you see the Vi on the other side, you see the Rakan on the other side. I mean, Hot is going to have a lot of problems, and it's either, do you want to build a supportive team around that, or do you want to say, okay, fine, just go after him, and we'll have other people take the game over?
Yeah, there is a crazy Poppy angle as well, but with the mid lane ban coming in, the Orianna being removed, although we've already seen the Hui here, I can't think this is like a Hui top or anything, so I'm very surprised that the Orianna is just banned out here. Farmingdale, maybe they have something up their sleeve, or Kean knows something that we don't. I think you're smart, though, about building a supportive team around her. I think there is a viable or solid Poppy jungle angle for Farmingdale here, right? Like, you can throw that in, denies the Vi, denies the Rakan engage, you just sit on top of your AD carry here, and you can still get some really good ganks off. Hui is one of those champions that you're kind of right, he doesn't scream big damage, but a lot of the subtle things that he can do can kind of make or break team fights, right? Whether he's using the fear, whether he's doubling down on the damage with his WW or his like QW, right? It depends on what spells he's throwing out, and depending on where he's throwing them and how he's utilizing them, really can or sway team fights in their favor, as we do just get a double down from Kean here, the Lissandra being locked in.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, they are just saying no fun zone for Hot. They're going to pick the Ivern into that, so Farmingdale's leaning more into, yep, we're going to have Hot to go ahead and carry the game. One of the better players on the team, Master Tier, one of the highest ranked players in the entire lobby. I think him and French Delta Force are actually pretty close between each other. And if they elect to go for the Aatrox, I will be pretty pleased with that, because it does give them that other avenue, right? All of a sudden, well, it's not working with the Jinx, let's support the Aatrox a little bit more, and they Kean would have to do quite a bit more work to actually take this Aatrox down.
Yeah, but we talked about it offline here. Kean, our producer, they've got a Vayne top player, and why not into the Aatrox here? He's hovering some crazy champions. The Yone as well, a viable pick here. I think it works a little bit better. You've got a lot more follow-up. You've got a lot of escapability, a lot of mobility here. And you can follow up on the Lissandra, on the Rakan. There's a lot easier engage go buttons and triggers for Kean here, right? Into the Aatrox, into the team of Farmingdale. But Farmingdale have an Ivern, Yanni, and I love Ivern. He's one of my favorite champions. If played correctly, will just stuff out some of these engages, right? Daisy's a menace. You've got shielding. You've got a root. You've got the ability for Aatrox and Nautilus to jump right directly to the target that's rooted. I think Farmingdale's composition is a big keep away game for me. And if they can play it correctly, Kean can never actually find the fight that they want.
You see, I'm going to disagree with you, my friend. I don't know if that's necessarily true, because take a look at the champions that Kean have, right? You've got Vi, Lissandra, 2 point and clicks on whatever target you want. Rakan with the follow-up, Yon with the follow-up. Like the great Kendrick Lamar once said, there's layers to it. You and I know, Shibby, that there's layers to these team fights, to their CCs. Look, two big team fight impacting ultimates, 2 ultimates that impact players on a solo level, plus the ability to just generate picks in the mid game. No, I love this Kean composition.
Yeah, I can't say I don't agree with you there. The ability to pick off in side lanes is very strong, especially if French Delta is somewhere where he's not supposed to be, right? Because really the tankiness of this team composition functions with like a pseudo front line of Nautilus, of Aatrox, getting tons of shielding, tons of healing, right? It's not build armor, build MR, I'm going to tank you for 10,000 years. It's let me get drain tank items. Let me get Moonstone Renewer, right? Let me throw shields on. Let's drag out these fights so that we can get the lifesteal going. And eventually, Aatrox and Jinx will get that reset, right? It's a budget reset composition. You don't have the Viego, you don't have the Ahri in the mid lane, but you've got the ability to reset, especially with World Ender and Jinx's passive, right? Get excited. Can really start to run over team fights. It's just that first kill that needs to happen. So if somebody is a beat too slow, if Kane's off kilter on their engage, if Vi goes in before the Lissandra's ready, before the Rakan's ready, that team fight is done. Kean has to kind of back out here. So I'm looking for Kean for some really expert coordination. And it's not too hard when you've got very easy buttons like you mentioned.
Yeah. Now, the one thing about Kean that we didn't mention is that they're not exactly tanky, right? Vi doesn't build tank anymore. I mean, even back in the day, she would, but everybody would say it was the worst way to build her. You know, she's more of a bruiser type. She's trying to drain tank with, what's that illegal item that everybody hates, including myself? Sundered Sky.
Sundered Sky.
Yeah, and you know, Rakan's not super tanky either. Yone's not known as that. And you know, they go in and you know, Farmingdale, they've got quite a bit of damage, right? There is a chance that, you know, you see Aatrox drop a Q3 down and, you know, you see someone like Lissandra get chunked to half HP, right?
Yeah, and also I think it's this way, right? Like, depending on how much damage you can output, right? If he goes for the more aggressive options on his abilities, right? The QEs, the QWs, that kind of stuff, then it becomes like, oh, he's pumping out a ton of damage. If he goes for the more utility options, right? Usually we'll see like the river on the bottom, or we'll see the fear that kind of like can dissuade the Yone or dissuade the Lissandra who's coming in. That's where the big kind of disconnection is going to happen. So my eyes are going to be on Frankie here to see how he's using his abilities and keeping his team safe as a mid laner, because the comp doesn't center around him, right? It's around this Aatrox, it's around this Jinx, and how they can play around these resets. Kean have a tough task. I think it is, like you said, easily executable, but if they get a little over-aggressive, they get a little overzealous, they could easily find themselves in a situation where Jinx and Aatrox are resetting onto your team composition. You lose the fight, you lose the objective, and then you're down 5,000 gold.
Yeah, that means that Kean has to take a smart point of attack here. Where do they want to go after on the side of Farmingdale? Do they want to go after your top and mid laner who are admittedly playing out of position? Do they want to go after the Jinx where conventional wisdom says your team composition eats a Jinx for breakfast? Shibby, we'll have to find out. We've made it onto Summoner's Rift for game 1 of this best of 5 series between Farmingdale State College and Kean University. Let's get into it.
And typically you'll see game 1s. Teams will try to get creative, in my opinion. They'll try to go for these invades. I'm glad Farmingdale's doing something about it. They go for vision on to potentially this red buff here. They're assuming that maybe they can catch somebody out of position. One potentially looking as now he might be caught.
Yeah, they're going to gauge onto the Vi, and it looks like Yon is just going to stand right there and be like, you know what, we don't want any part of this. It's going to be first blood going over to French Delta Force. Not the way you want to start out the game if you're Kean.
Yeah, and definitely if you're Knight here, right, on the Yone, like, oh, he's got another extra couple gold here. He ended up opting in for the boots, which is going to give him some nice mobility, especially later on in the lane, right, when he can start moving around with the Qs, with the E's, and position them a little bit more aggressively. So we do see Ivern starting off on his camps, and I want to be able to try to follow this Ivern a little bit as we see him clearing, because there are some cool clear paths you can do, right? You can start your 3 camps, you can run all the way across, get a Vi camp potentially, or you take all the bottom camps, reset, and then go for like a smite into a gank top. The cool thing about Ivern is that he isn't your prototypical jungler, so you can't rely on those 3 minute 15 seconds, 2 minute 45 gank timers, because that's just not who he is, and that's just not how he operates.
Yeah, and, you know, Bubba Blue isn't really going to make too much of an impact, I feel, in these lanes, right? At least compared to Vi, is a small engage in the bottom lane. It's not going to amount to a whole lot, just quite a bit of damage. Going to go down. Star went in, and that means Ghost is going to get expended here from the Jinx. Just get as much damage as possible down, and Hana's doing a great job of staying outside of turret range.
Yeah, lethal tempo, once fully stacked for the Jinx, can just do stuff, and look what he did. He ticked off his camps, went straight to Vi's blue buff, and yoinked it for himself here, and I don't know if Unan is even aware that this has happened, but he's going to go there. He's going to be like, guys, where is my blue buff? Delaying that level 6 against the Vi, also so valuable.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that Vi is as far away from level 6 as long as possible to make sure that your Jinx has enough time to get really, really strong, because you hit a point where Vi wants to go in, but if there's no damage follow-up, it doesn't really matter. We are seeing Vi head over to the red buff and start it up on Farmingdale's side of the map here, so it'll just be a bit of a silly trade of both junglers getting blues and reds.
Yeah. 2 blues for Bubba Blue, why not? And 2 reds for the Vi
living up
here.
to his name.
Yeah, and if I'm Vi, I'm definitely liking the red buff, right? You don't really have mana issues or mana troubles in the jungle anyways, because you just get that increased mana regen. Let's see if they can catch out Vi here on the Krugs. I know she queued over. Does Bubba Blue know, or is he just going to face check this? Yeah.
This is so needlessly risky, although I should be able to at least get over to the wall. But we are seeing Froggy rotate over. Don't think it's going to amount to all much. A lot of pings are going down. We're seeing Zukima try to finish the roam here. He's got both sums available. Now it's going to be Lissandra going in. They're going to dump everything onto Froggy, but it's not a whole lot of damage. And now Ivern flying over the wall. That means that Vi is going to go down. Bubba Blue picks that one up.
Yeah, Hot though in some trouble.
Great response. Are they going to be able to get the contamination off? Is he in range? He's going to burn from that poison, but he's trying to get in as much damage as possible. Shield out from the Ivern here, and Froggy also in the area. Root lands right onto the Twitch. Twitch in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down, and now it's Star G who gets caught flashing forward onto Hot, but he can't take him down either. It's a disaster for Kean in the enemy jungle.
They tried to get the kill onto Hot. They tried to catch him out as there's a 3-man run to mid. But Yanni, like you pointed out, Wunamon just going for the Krugs. I think you take the red and you leave, right? You don't want to risk anything more. You get the buffs traded. You're still on pace here, but you gave a bunch of kills over. Luckily, 2 of them went over to the Ivern, which isn't as detrimental as them going over the Jinx, but she gets 1 for herself here. And now that lane for Kean on the bottom side is going to be that much harder to navigate. Twitch Rakan, not the strongest of lanes initially, and giving that extra kill gold over, giving some items over to the Jinx, just makes it that much more difficult.
Shibby, you said thankfully they went to Bubble Blue. I see a 5-stack Dark Seal, my friend. You might not be thanking yourself for too long, because, you know, as long as he plays Ivern the way it should be piloted, it's going to be very difficult to get these stacks off. Eventually that's going to become a Magi's, and that's going to, you know, make those shields a lot bigger. That Q, when it lands onto somebody, is going to hurt a little bit more. I like the proactivity here from Kean, though. They are going to take this dragon. The response from Farmingdale will be to take the grubs. It's going to take them a little bit, though.
Yeah, Ivern struggles with the neutral objectives for sure here, and he should have lane priority in top. You obviously saw Tsushima roaming up to the top side, roaming up for these grubs, so he should be fine. But he's going to be on a delayed timer as we see Woon again investigating the enemy jungle, but he should be able to get out. Q over the wall. He yoinks the Raptors, but not without paying a little bit of tax to Froggy here in regards to his HP.
Hey, you know what? It's April 12th. It's not quite April 15th. Taxes still due. But you know what? That's a tax that you'll gladly pay, right? You knew that you were probably going to give the grubbies away. Getting any little extra camp that you can, probably going to be beneficial. He's already at level 4. Still down in terms of levels, but at that point, you don't really care, oh, I'm down a level. You only really care, am I going to be level 6 and when?
Yeah. French Delta navigating this lane pretty well. Obviously got that early kill, but is down in CS, right? Like I think unfortunately some of the roams that happened, I think some CS got yoinked. Like he actually hasn't been able to CS as well as we thought he would with that extra kill. Has opted in for the plated steel caps, is still even in gold, but Knight is having a completely fine time in this top side and will eventually scale. Like we talk about scaling options, Farmingdale have the Jinx, they have the Aatrox, obviously have Ivern who has a very cheap 3-item, 2-item power spike, but you've got Twitch, you've got Yone on the other side who will blow you up eventually, right? Like Twitch is one of those hard scaling ADs that given enough items, given enough time, can just shred through a very squishy Farmingdale composition.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be able to pretty much free hit because of the super long range that Twitch can hit you from when he uses his ultimate, when he's spraying and praying. Now, the interesting thing, you know, mentioning that top lane for just another moment, I think a lot of the way this lane has gone has had to do with French Delta Force being a role swap, right? We did talk about how he swapped from the jungle to the top lane, was a really excellent jungler. And, you know, it's just a jungler trying to CS, right? And you know that never works well. I've played with you, Shibby. We're seeing an engage come through. Yeah, Bubba Blue just gets caught out completely. Big shutdown going over to Vi.
Oh! Froggy got the blue buff, though.
Froggy's in trouble, though. Yeah, Froggy got the blue buff, but wasn't worth your flash. Lissandra going to go over the wall. They're going to take out the Vi, but now Froggy is very low. Here comes the Ghost getting popped. Hot, trying to do what they can to pop off. It's 3v2 for right now. The Frozen Throw going to deal a little bit more damage. They're going to be able to take down the Nautilus as well. Now it's a 2v1, but Hot trying to do what they can, trying to get as much damage as possible, but forced away to finally end the engagement.
Yeah, overall going over in Kane's favor here. That interesting blue buff invade from Bubba Blue. His life gets taken immediately, and that gives the numbers advantage. But good on Hot to try to get as much damage down as possible, right? The AD carry that is positioned aggressively, that's using lethal tempo range to get as much DPS as possible. That's what you want to see, right? Lesser AD carries would have dipped on out of there the moment the numbers started going in the favor of Kane here. Hot picks up 2 kills.
Yeah, he's just popping off right now, and from the word go, right, we knew that this guy was going to be pretty special just based on what he was doing at level 1 in that lane. See if they can make a play onto this Yone, who is up a ton of CS, but if they manage to take him out, this would be very good for the side of Farmingdale, but well, use that fate seal to make sure his fate is not sealed.
Yeah, just get out of jail free card, right? Unless you have it
Don't tell me he's gonna fight this.
Flank.
He is gonna fight this. World Ender getting popped. Can't get any closer, so French Delta Force will survive without any problems whatsoever.
Backing in that bush is really risky here, because if Knight wants to heal,
Close
it off with Zukima. Uh-oh.
A nice move there by Zukima. He knew he was in trouble. Hooked the wall flash over. Everything's all good.
I like that Kane's still trying to be proactive, still trying to get catches out. You can see the Twitch as well, roaming. They know that a good chunk of Kane's team is on this top side here. Froggy should be dead.
Potentially, they didn't follow it up with another knockup. Double roots are there, and Gary from downtown able to get it done, but it ends up being a 1-for-1 because that ultimate out of Hui, it just does so much damage.
Yeah, especially when you're low health and it pops. The anticipation, kind of the drama of like, oh my god, is it gonna kill me? I don't know. You just die anyways. I'm surprised Froggy actually ended up dying for that. Nautilus or Zukima saw 2 members, right? Saw the Vi, saw the Rakan, and still opted to play that far forward, not respecting the engage distance, as we do see a standard objective trait here. The opposite of what happened the first go-around was infernal for Kean, and 3 grubs over to Farmingdale. They're going to swap. They're going to give the Chemtech over to Farmingdale here. And the individual Chemtech, generally not that good, but with the composition that Farmingdale has, 6% shield power and
Pretty
heal.
good.
Bubba Blue loves it. Yeah, Nautilus loves it. I mean, French Delta as well. Like, it's not a bad singular Drake, as we do get the Hextech Soul on the menu today.
Yep, great soul. Let's see, hop in real fast, and Vi's going to probably utilize that after they respawn because they just got sent back to the base with prejudice.
What is it with both of these junglers? Just
Bro,
over-aggressively invading, right?
Well,
they just
I don't
want
know what's
camps.
going on. They're just going at it. Going back in here is Knight. Knight realizes that
They're jumping
he might
in.
just have to do something fancy to try to find a way out of here. Now he's going to switch targets to Bubble Blue Teleport coming in, but Knight is dead, and he burns the flash. Next victim in line is this Lissandra. Lissandra able to get away for a little bit, but they are sticking right on top of him. Boat Chicken served up for dinner.
Oh my god, Knight and Boat Chicken both got jumped into the gang here. Farmingdale 3v1 into another 3v1. Another dive onto Gary.
Gary might be in trouble, but here comes Vi. They're going to try to turn this around. Zukima taking a lot of damage here. Can't quite land the Q, however, does have the Assault and Battery in the back pocket for when it's time to use it. It's probably time to use it. Waiting around. Are they going to engage onto the Jinx or not? Here comes the Jinx Rocket. They managed to take down the Twitch.
What?
Chibi! He's saving it for next game.
He's saving it for next year. At this point, maybe
he's saving
he
it
knows.
for now. He doesn't get spotted out. He gets hooked up. Is he going to get blown up? Oh, it's disaster striking for Kean in the bot lane. Woonan, what is going on?
That Jinx doesn't even really have damage items. It's Zerkergreave Zeal, Yanni. It's not even a Kraken component. This guy's rushing static, and they unfortunately are too hesitant to pull the trigger. Maybe because Hot had the flash and was afraid of getting into turret range, but you just let it rip on Zukima, no, as a mid lane fight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've watched somebody not pull the trigger in my life. I had to watch years of Ben Simmons for the Philadelphia 76ers, and I felt like I was just watching him again. As you see, this time, it looked like Vi wanted to go in, but gets feared away.
Yeah, good from Froggy to dissuade some of that aggression here. Is French Delta doing a better job trading the HP away. Still down quite a bit of CS here, but once he gets that Profane Hydra, should be clearing waves fairly easily. Jinx Rocket is just going to pass onto the wind and onto the ether. I think it saw that just pass by my window. Farmingdale in a commanding 5,000 gold lead.
Yeah, it's looked real good for them so far. This doesn't look very good for them right now, but the World Ender getting popped. French Delta Force, a little bit of help from his friends. Is he able to kite it out? And he will survive. They do manage to take down Knight. It's just more Farmingdale. Now it's looking good again.
Yeah. Oh, Hot should be able to get this turret eventually. I don't know if he's going to get on this wave. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, he's going to get on next wave. He doesn't want to tank up too much damage. Potentially, Gary turns it around. He goes into stealth, pops the ultimate. But you look at Bubba just hovering around, yoinking camps. I love it. You know, like you continuous yoinking as well from Ivern, right? Usually you'll see it just the first initial rotation, and then they'll just be relegated to being shielding and taking their own camps. But taking advantage, saving the smite, you know, just ruining Vi's gold.
He dodged the auto attack.
Yeah, he dodged the auto. Ultimate comes out, and it's now potentially another mid lane fight. Boat, you're 10% HP.
Yeah, Vi's got nowhere to go except out of there. Luckily able to find a way out. Was forced to use flash there. This does mean that Rift Herald is on the table for Farmingdale, as they're just doing well everywhere, man. Yeah, there's a deficit up in the top lane, but when you've got leads like you do in mid and bot lane, who needs top lane?
You've got friends like French Delta. Who needs a lead, right? Like, you've got 3 members right now jumping Knight.
See if he can find a way out. Instead, he's going to go back in. He knows his goose is cooked. It's another kill. Bubba Blue, 4-1-5. He's got that Moonstone Renewer. Shibby, Kean needs an answer and fast.
Yeah, I mean, Twitch is on some items right now, and I lied. That's not a static. Jinx, that is a Phantom Dancer. Now, obviously, I'm not an AD expert myself by any means, but that cannot be a good first rush item, right? Like, I feel like Kraken is just the de facto best item right now, unless the Jinx really values the movement speed that you get from it.
I'm really confused. Like, I'm not gonna like I've been doing rough in solo queues this year, but like I'm gonna be real. I'm really confused. I mean, look at the damage that Jinx is doing. It's not a whole lot of damage, right? Super Mega Death Rocket is gonna come out, and luckily that has an execute, so that part does a lot of damage.
Yeah, but you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Hot, rushing the Phantom Dancer, doing his job, staying safe. He's sitting on 2,100 gold as well here, as the Hextech Dragon is going to go down to Farmingdale.
Is it going to go down?
Wait,
Are you sure it's going to go down, Jimmy?
You know, I'm thinking Jinx. I'm just thinking it'll go down. It'll go down eventually. I'm kind of scared to see what Hot ends up building.
There we go.
If he goes into Runins, I'll be severely disappointed. He has to go down.
It'll actually be hilarious. I'm not going to lie. I will. It'll be entertaining, Jinx. That's for damn sure.
I just pea shooter firing at 1,000,000 miles a second. All right, it's literally that's what it is. Farmingdale right now. The objective bounties have ticked for Kean University. Farmingdale so far ahead. Let's see. All right,
God.
we're getting normal. All right, guys. I think it's an IE, based off of the items I see right now. So that's cool. That's fine. You'll finally be able to take the next dragon at least in record time here, but. Across the board, Farmingdale doing a solid job. He had the CS lead for French. He was down, not struggling a little bit, but his friends came. Tsushima, Bubba Blue, this composition that Farmingdale have drafted for themselves. They weren't necessarily supposed to win early, right? The onus was on Kean to, once they hit level 6 in the mid lane, top lane, jungle, that they were just going to start letting it rip onto these laners. But unfortunately, I don't think we've seen a cease and desist Lissandra combo yet in any of these team fights.
No, and at this point, I don't know if we're going to see one that is going to be effective, right? Just because Farmingdale is so far ahead at this point in the game. And you know what? Credit to them. They have played a fantastic, cohesive, team unit-based game. It feels like they've always been around each other. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kean, it doesn't feel like the roams are as efficient. They're roaming with 2 instead of with 4. This top lane turret is getting absolutely shredded. It's going to be about 200 gold going over to every guilty party on the side of Farmingdale.
4 members of Farmingdale here in the top side just moving across the map. They have a fluid way of at least playing League of Legends, right? You understand there's purpose, there's priority, there's intent on how they want to win this game. If you look on the side of Kean, they're kind of just running around with their heads off, right? They're trying to figure out, like, what do we do? Do we do this? Do we do that? They're getting yanked every single corner, and unfortunately, this isn't Mr. Fantastic, right? This isn't your Stretch Armstrong doll. This is a League of Legends team.
And Knight is still split pushing, and now the Rift Herald's getting dropped in the mid lane here. I mean, they sacrifice 1 inhibitor to her 2 inner turrets, and they're also going to sacrifice their Vi in a minute here if she can't get away. Has to try to find a way out. Gary can't find a way in either. Yone is still split pushing. Inhibitor has gone down. Shimmy, they're sieging to potentially end this game. What is going on here? The first turret's about to fall. It goes down. Hot is onto the side. Gary can't find a way in. Gary the snail, do something, my friend. Just no way for them to find any CC as Rakan split the gap between everybody. And Farmingdale is going to walk out like nothing happened.
TP does come in, or Hexgate does get used right now, and you can't even chase. You want the blue buff? Buddy, that's not yours. You just saw what they did at your base. This whole quadrant of your jungle does not belong to you. And Farmingdale get out with the craziest of crimes. No fingerprints, no hair samples, not even a camera to look at. Kean's base absolutely in shambles, and the culprit, Farmingdale State Rams.
Yeah, and you know what, Shibby, it's the crime where everybody knew they did it. Everybody knows it's Farmingdale, but there was just no evidence. Inspector Knight was in the bottom lane. He had no idea what was going on. And realistically, Shibby, I mean, while this isn't the largest gold lead we've ever seen a comeback from, I have to say, based on that entire sequence, it feels like, 8:48 p.m. It might be 8:48 a.m. because it feels like Kean is still asleep.
Yeah, they definitely haven't woken up. A lot of solo gold, as this should allow him to 1v1.
All right. You got one. The longest of journeys starts with a single step. And it's a shutdown, too. So if Knight ends up carrying this game, we'll point to that moment where they sacrificed a lot in their base and be like, you know what? It was the right call.
Sometimes the best things take a lot of sacrifices. Man, it's like a relationship, a job, your life in general, right? You got to sacrifice stuff. Casting. Yep, there you go. There's a lot of things that require heavy, heavy sacrifices. And Kean sacrificed their middle inhibitor, their turret, and now they're just going to go for the whole game here, or at least try to stall it out. But you don't have your Twitch. I don't think you take it that
He's
fast,
got to clear
guys.
the wave. There's super minions in the base. I mean, Gary is not going to be able to get there. This Baron down to about 6,000 HP. A teleport came in, but French Delta Force now is going to start to come through. Here's the engagement down onto Hot, but High it just survives without a problem. There's that cease and desist, but it doesn't matter. It's a triple kill for the Jinx. Super Mega Death Rocket coming out. Quadra kill for High.
Now, do they have enough time to pick up the Penta? No, they won't. 7 seconds on Star. Unfortunately,
No,
Gary's like, yeah. Gary's, I'm going home. I'm going to the fountain, guys. Baron, 22 minutes into the game. We've got a 10,000 gold lead for Farmingdale, and they're just going to look to end this. Walk in the super minions coming down to the mid lane. Quick flash of gold. Tells us what we already know. Farmingdale on top. 1-0, and can't even say it was a close game at all. Dominating fashion.
Farmingdale's got Kean on farm right now as the Nexus will finally fall. 20 kills to 5, less than 23 minutes, over an 11,000 gold lead, Shibby. I mean, listen, we knew this was a 2-0 series in the regular season coming in, but it just felt like Kean had no fight in them, and I hope that wakes them up, right? That game has to wake them up, right?
Yeah, I think Kean University, they had a plan. They concocted a draft of sorts, but they just didn't execute on it, right? The Lissandra, the Vi, that's a deadly combo. Froggy should be under constant duress, right? Like, should never be allowed under his turret without it sweating bullets, but unfortunately, I felt like he was just kind of chilling in the mid lane, allowed to do what he wants, and then when the team fights came in, the Fate Sealed came, you saw all this CC and all these abilities being thrown, nobody died. Because you've had an Ivern that's 2-3 items in. Jinx, completely safe on the backside. Lethal Tempo. Phantom Dancer. IE, ready to go. Right? I think, unfortunately, the team composition took a little too late to fire when Kean should have been, going on and going to these lanes. Level 6, 4-man bot dive, right? You have the ability to go invulnerable as Lissandra. Force the issue. But they kind of just played Farmingdale's game, and, well, Farmingdale's more than happy to play that, right? They're more than happy to play the slow scaling game and take the advantages in the fights when they want to. That's why they just won 22 minutes in, 1-0. Like, it was just a Farmingdale game from start to finish.
Listen, it's in the name, right? They just wanted to farm. And Farmingdale was farming minions, farming champions, and farming the Nexus. And in a 23-minute game, Kean was not able to find their form, but this is why it's a 5-game series. We're going to take a very short break, and when we return, the teams are going to reconvene, and we'll give you the Game 2 draft between Farmingdale and Kean. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to the ECAC Elite League of Legends semifinals between Farmingdale and Kean. Shibby, I mean, we didn't talk that much, in the post game about game one because there wasn't really much to be said. It was just all Farmingdale from the word go, right?
Yeah, it was from start to finish. They wrote their own book. They finished chapter 1 and they ended it really quickly. It's like one of those anamorphs. It's like, oh, it's only like 50 pages, 60 pages. I can read it. I can get it done in a couple hours. But Farmingdale stayed.
Couple hours? How long does it take you to read?
Okay, not now at my age. I'm talking about when I was a kid.
How long did it take you to read?
Look, man, it took a while for me to develop my lexicon, but we got it. We're there. It's good. Farmingdale, though, developed a very solid game strategy from the jump, right? They saw what Kean was picking, and they're like, all right, we're just going to play we're going to play Ivern. We're going to play Nautilus. We're going to play this kind of catch composition. You're never going to be able to get our Jinx. You're never going to be able to kill everybody, and rightfully so. You can't, unfortunately, lock everybody down. There's only one person you can ult as Vi, and there's only one ult you can use as Lissandra.
Are you sure there's one person you can ult as Vi? Because
I
didn't see any, to be honest. And I hate to be that guy. I really, really do. But listen, we got to see the Vi ults come up here for Wunan. I'm hoping that he's able to play a better game too, as we're going to kick it into the draft and see what these teams and players are picking here. Game 2 draft between Farmingdale and Kean. Shibby, I mean, listen, I actually, you know what? I'm interested to see what Kean's going to do, right? Are they going to go with a very similar strategy? Because in theory, right, this works. In theory, this draft works, right? It just, the execution wasn't really there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you say the execution wasn't there because in my head, it's a very, simple composition, right? You press R, you catch picks in the side lane. You mentioned how much pressure they can have once the 14 minutes breaks away here. You also have the ability to pick on one of 2 soul damage dealers, I will say, right? Hue was in that more supportive role, though he did quite a bit of damage with the Spiraling Despairs. I don't think Farmingdale is necessarily going to change their draft strategy, and if Bubba Blue can pick Ivern and get tons of value off of it, keep rolling it, right? Force them to ban it or force them to pick something more aggressive. You need a jungler, in my opinion, something like Bel'Veth, Xin Zhao, something that can put a lot of pressure onto Ivern. A fast farming jungler as well, dissuades the ability to take camps away, and especially can put pressure on Ivern in his own jungle. So we'll see if Bubba Blue actually ends up locking that in again. I'm of the camp that if you can play Ivern, if you can do it, why not? It helps your top laner, it helps your AD carry, it buffs them up, you can skirmish, you can fight. You are almost infinitely valuable in team fights with the shielding, with Daisy, that 6th man coming in. I think I love that champion. I think when executed, can just be a game changer, as the B1 Nautilus is going to come out here once again, and Kean actually identifying hey, Froggy's Hue, not what I wanted to go against.
Yeah, it's a pretty good ban here, right? I mean, the ban last time around was Jace, right? So getting that way off the board, it was problematic, right? I mean, it had a very large CS lead over Bo Chicken's Lissandra. I mean, it just kills discounted. It was like a 40 CS lead. I mean, you can't allow that to happen, right? It's just because the range differential, right? We didn't really talk about how the lanes were going to get impacted with these team compositions, with the decisions that were made. But that range differential is very difficult to overcome. I like what Kean is pulling out here with the Maokai, with the Leona combo. You've got a nice heaping helping of CC ready to go, and picking Jinx into that is pretty absurd, but hot. Listen, they got the job done in game 1 against the comp I didn't think they'd be able to survive against, so who am I to argue?
Yeah. Maokai Leona locked in for Kean. A lot more AoE lockdown, although Maokai has the ability to just kind of single out somebody with the Twisted Advance. Leona coming in can prevent certain picks, right? Can kind of make it a little bit harder to execute some of these more dive-heavy champions if Farmingdale chooses to. But with the Orianna, with the Jinx, you can just play the range game so expertly. Now for Farmingdale, I'm looking for them to kind of round out the ball delivery system. Sivir is one of those champions that is just, in my opinion, the Malzahar of bot lane. Uninteractive, wave clears, just doesn't make it fun. I pick Sivir when I have to 80 because I'm like, I don't want to play against this. I'm just going to shove you in consistently. Sivir Leona, sick composition. Similarly for Kean, Farmingdale wants a ball delivery system. Kean needs a damage delivery, right? They need DPS to get in with the Sivir ultimate, right? They need some really, really strong DPS here. Obviously, Sivir can end up doing damage here, but I want to see like maybe Silas, Aatrox, Silas Yone, that kind of stuff. Some big, heavy skirmishers that when put onto your team, when in melee range, can absolutely destroy things. As the Yone does get banned out, Farmingdale rightfully identify that that's not what they want to see in their face, as a Nico would be pretty good here.
Yeah, it would be okay. You know, it's got a lot of burst, right? The DPS isn't always there, right? But the cooldowns aren't super long, and it fits very well, right? You catch somebody out with a Leon ultimate, with the Maokai ultimate, you can speed up the Nico to get in there, pop Blossom onto 3. You're talking about the ball delivery system here. It is Jarvan going to be the lock-in for Farmingdale. See if they choose to follow it up with this Darius that's getting hovered.
That's overnight delivery, right? Like, that's not just the ball. That's instant, right? EQ, boom, you pop the Orianna ultimate here, as Darius is going to get blinded by Farmingdale here. French Delta Force, Aatrox removed, Ivern taken out. Why not, Knights? Come on, this is the game to play it. I don't think Darius can play this lane. If the Vayne pilots it correctly, there's no way in hell this Darius is ever going to get in, but instead, they're going to opt away from it. They're swapping over Jace. Same, similar vein, no pun intended, but not the top laner that we expected here. Poke, you've got Engage, you've got Roots. Kane's composition kind of all over the place, but the real kind of thing, the bread and butter, is the Sivir into Nico ult, right? Getting her into range of Farmingdale, getting her into that backline. That's what you want to do, right? You want to get it onto Froggy, you want to get it onto Hot, and then just follow up with as much damage as possible.
Yeah, you just got to burst them out quickly before they can get going, right? Obviously, Orianna is going to have a lot of early game impact or early fight impact, I should say, in these fights, because Shockwave is probably the thing that's starting to kick things off. It's very difficult to blow up Orianna before they have an opportunity to use Shockwave unless they make a critical error. Jinx, on the other hand, again, as you said in game 1, it's like, can Jinx get going? If you can stop the Jinx from getting going in the fight, getting fully stacked up on the queue, and then resetting, then you're good to go. You've got nothing to worry about. But we'll see how it goes, as Kean has a lot to worry about. They're down 1-0 in the series. We're heading back on to Summoner's Rift for game 2 of this best-of-5 series. Kane's got to show us something here in game 2, Shibby.
Yeah, they're going to come out different. They have the Jace available to them on the side of Knight. Jace into Darius is generally Jace favored, right? Can put a lot of pressure. Doesn't really have to worry about kill threat unless French opts in to burn both sums. But you see Farmingdale, once again, a cheeky invade, this time on the bot side. And you see Kean, they're a step behind. They're stacking top when nobody's there. They're seeing ghosts right now. And this is going to put them potentially in this bush here. They might find themselves another kill.
Oh, no.
Moonon. Uh-oh.
Please, no.
You can't go back in.
I feel like Michael Scott right now. They are going to send 4 people there, and there's the sapling.
So bad.
That's a good sapling right there. There we go.
Yeah,
Could
but starting out sapling when you're Maokai jungle, brother, you need a heavy leash. The Q is what allows you to clear and kind of not stunt your efficiency so much. But with this start, he's going to be so far behind. It's going to be rough. We'll have to see. We'll see if he can get up clearing or if he expends double smite, as they are still looking for something. They are just harassing this guy.
Yeah, they're just full court pressing him, right? From minute 1 in the game, Wunan's been under the duress of Farmingdale. But finally, we'll get off at least a clean clear here, at least for the first game.
Yeah, and we'll see if he ends up skipping anything. Typically, you'll see Maokai's like full clear a quadrant, and then they'll like flash mid, right? Flash W, flash onto somebody to burn it out. As Hot is just kind of walking up to Stargy here, and I've been really impressed with how Farmingdale's been playing this bot lane, right? They understand that they have the pushing lane. They understand that they're stronger. Use that to your advantage, and just bully Kean out of any sort of lane priority that they think they would get here. The level 2 power spike or level 2 hits for Farmingdale here, and now they'll have full control.
Yeah, it was a little concerning to see Hot take so much damage, but the good news for the bottom lane of Farmingdale is that Gary is already almost out of mana, so any engagement, right, it's going to be one Sivir Q, and then it's got to be auto attacks from there.
Yeah, and if you get into an auto attack war with Jinx, you definitely are going to lose it, especially with the minigun plus lethal tempo going crazy. Not going to get shoved in here, but I think once Gary is actually allowed to start getting some mana or getting some stuff back from, you know, the E here and allowing them to kind of shove back on out, it should be good. Froggy in his mid lane, taking some damage.
Looks like he's baiting here for Bubble Blue, but Bubble Blue has decided I'm already out. And Froggy is just winning anyway with this Orianna QW combo. It's one of the strongest mid lane combos in the game, the 2 ability combo. It's so hard to dodge and avoid, and just does so much. It slows you, so you take auto attacks from Orianna's really strong auto attack based passive. It's really rough. Speaking of which, Knight is going to get paid another visit here, but Wunahan is right behind him. Both level 4 on the side of Kean. They are going to be able to pick up first blood now. French Delta Force will pop that ghost. Gets another bleed stack. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, I mean, Boat Chicken actually just ends up winning the 1v1. Never mind the fact that he's down CS. He doesn't care.
Yeah, that's crazy that he ended up dying. Looks like a flash for flash trade. Maybe Froggy ended up taking a tower shot, but I like that Kean have the confidence to take that 2v2 because Jace has access to 6 different spells and has so much damage front loaded into his kit because he doesn't have an ultimate. You can just take that 2v2 and blow up Bubba Blue there. There's a 2v2 in the bot lane.
Cleanse. Hot's forced to flash away as well. Healthy health bars over for the side of Kean, and now they're going to turn onto the Nautilus here. Tsukima, you get that shield, the Ignite's going to go down, but it's not really going to do much to dissuade, but he'll be able to land the hook into the wall to get away. Meanwhile, Knight in the 2v1, able to pick up 1 kill. Can he pick up a second? He's up 2 levels. He's got a red buff. Here comes Maokai as well. Opportunity here, but looks like Bubble Blue will be able to walk away. Shibby, how is he still level 3?
Well, he did a couple camps. Didn't actually get, I think, Wolves, or didn't actually get Gromp. He skipped a couple, and so he went red, Wolves, blue, got the Scuttle, hit level 3, and just hasn't really ticked off to another camp at all, and obviously died early on. So yeah, he's going to be down in levels. He went for a very starved Jarvan clear, right? Typically, you'll see them clear a quadrant.
Jarvan.
Yeah, starving Jarvan, right? Like, he didn't really go for your prototypical clear. He went for something a little bit avant-garde, and unfortunately, the public does not like that.
Well, Kean, I'm sure, is certainly happy with it. They've got a large lead in the jungle in terms of CS. They've got a humongous lead in the top lane. French Delta Force might not be able to get in this game. He might be waving the white flag, right? Living up to his namesake. And in the mid lane, a solo kill for Boat Chicken. This is not the Farmingdale we saw in Game 1. This isn't the Kean we saw in Game 1 either.
No, not at all. You said they had to come out strong, come out with something. They
What
might
is
look
going
for
on here?
a pick. Wunanon. 2 levels up on Jarvan. Bubba Blue, farm your camps, please! They're still level 1, my friend!
All right, he's paying attention to you. He's watching the stream. It's time for Bubba Blue to get his Krugs. I mean, I like the way
Level
you put
1?
it being avant-garde.
I'm not going to say it's a bad clear. It's an avant-garde clear. I see what he was going for. Jarvans probably have the most flexibility with their clears and how they want to gank because they're so strong, level 2 and 3, and they can just kind of gank at a moment's notice here. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to get anything off. Mid was a little bit too pushed in. You saw he tried to work something there, went top, got absolutely blown up. Bot lane was shoving in, and now Bubba Blue, 1 camp, and he's going to gank.
He's doing his bot lane camp here, and they're going to catch out the Leona and give a kill over to Hot. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for Farmingdale.
Yeah, 1 camp gank. Bubba Blue doing a pretty good job here. He's going to fall behind, at least in efficiency, as Wunanon on this Maokai. He's going to hit level 6. A ton of CC is going to be available to him very, very soon. And unfortunately, you don't have really any good ways of dodging out on it. If you're Hot, if you're Zukima, right, you just kind of like watch it as it slowly progresses onto you. But with that kill and with the knowledge that Farmingdale is going for a reset, they opt in to take this dragon. And they know that Bubba Blue has to farm his camps because he's so far behind. You tab over, my brother has like a 16 camp, or sorry, a 4 camp lead on Bubba Blue right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's crazier. The fact that just a moment ago, French Delta Force and Bubba Blue had the same amount of CS, or the fact that either one of them has that little CS.
Yeah, I mean, that Darius matchup really rough, especially if you give over red buff and blue buff tonight early on, giving him a double kill. It's just going to put so much pressure. I mean, look, the guy has plated steel caps to Caulfield, to another longsword, right? He's got the cooldown reduction from the Ionians. The amount of punishment that French Delta Force is taking, you can't really do anything on the side of Bubba Blue to relieve it. Knight has been playing this lane really well, and this Jace, I had my reservations about it. I wanted to see the Vayne, but he's just been putting on a clinic right now, 73 CS and 40 up on his counterpart.
Yeah, it may be a ranged top laner, but it's a palatable ranged top laner, right? Everybody always talks about how they hate, playing against ranged top laners, but Jace is the one where it's like, okay, fine, I guess you can play it.
Yeah, he breaks the rules a little bit, unconventional for sure. Takes a lot of skill to pilot, right? You have to get a ton of a ton of games on it, because later on in the game, those shock blasts will start just being absorbed by French Delta Force, by Bubba Blue. So you've got to kind of turn into this sniper Jace rather than just firing them willy-nilly as in the early game where it can kind of shred through most people's health bars. 23, 25, 28 minutes in, you've got to kind of be a little bit more accurate here, and that's kind of where I see a lot of Jace's falter. They don't really know how to navigate the late game. They don't really know how to navigate post-laning phase and post-lead to where they can get some effective abilities onto the carries. And Farmingdale is going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, and it's going to be difficult to deal with, right? They've got Nautilus who gets a little tanky, Darius who can get tanky later on in the game, but I mean, he is a far cry away from that. These shock blasts are going to do some severe damage to the ones you consider your front line just by virtue of how far behind they actually are.
Yeah, and Yanni, I want you to take a peek real quick. Do you see anything out of order? I mean, itemization-wise, anything that jumps out to you, really?
I see a Retrix here on this Jinx.
I do, too. I have absolutely no inkling of what that could potentially build into, right? Like, I know what it builds into, but what is Hot thinking? I can't get in this guy's head, right? Is that, a Ghost Blade? Is that an opportunity? Is that, like, what is he building this item?
Phantom Dancer. He's just going to build Phantom Dancer again, Shimmy.
The Maokai ultimate does come in. I don't think it's actually going to hit anybody. Unfortunately, it is just a little too slow. And that is going to spell the end of that play. Yeah,
that's a big cooldown as well. But we are seeing Wunahan get there. Great stun landed by this Leona. This Nautilus has nowhere to go. Teleport coming in, and now Hot is in a whole lot of trouble. Flashes away, but still possibly gets popped. He's in a lot of trouble. He's still alive. He's going to get the reset. What a shockwave from Froggy. No way that they're able to turn this fight, Shibby. Farmingdale are just built different, my friend. A double kill for Froggy.
And Hot lives through all of it. Somehow, some way, he ate every single spell from Boat Chicken and just lives through it. You were right. Farmingdale constructed differently, right? Just absolutely a menace and have evened up the gold. They were down 2,000, Yanni. They were down 15 to 17. Now it's a dead even gold lead. Farmingdale with some big kills onto some big carries. Froggy and Hot, the two members for Farmingdale that you want the kills on, get all the gold. And you're right. I should have never doubted you. It is a Phantom Dancer rush for Hot.
I'm an 80 carry, bro. I just know, man. I just know, right? Wow. I mean, listen, I have not had any faith in the Phantom Dancer, but after this game, I'm going to fire up a game of solo queue, pick Jinx and Phantom Dancer first because I trust in Hot. That is that dude. 2-0-3. out farming a Sivir. Like, how often do you see that? By a large margin. They're going to try to make this play again. You saw what happened last time. Double knockups there. Here comes the roots out, but Hot is just able to free fire because Maokai can't do anything to him, and now Maokai's going to be the one in trouble, going to get hooked up, and all of the members that want to get the kills are going to deal a bunch of damage. Hot and Gay able to pick up another kill. Farmingdale is just on fire.
Massive from Farmingdale here, and just being able to turn around these fights. Crazy from Farmingdale here. Kean, look lost. They're trying to go for plays. The spirit is willing, right? The spirit is willing, but they just can't do it. They don't have the execution. Boat is a million miles away. I saw the ultimate get popped, I think, for wave clear onto the mid lane. I lied. They're going for a 2v2.
It ends up being a 1-for-1 for right now, but Bubba Blue can find himself in a little bit of trouble. Good Cataclysm there. Super Mega Death Rocket comes through. This could be the turn. The flash forward, able to take out the Leona for a double kill. Will we see a triple kill? We will. Bubble Blue adding his hand to the ring for MVP of this game.
The range, right? Ivern, you know, a shielding, kind of passive, kind of just exists around in the jungle in the team fights, and then swapping over to the Jarvan and absolutely putting on a clinic after a questionable clear, right? Questionable.
Yeah.
Avant-garde, I said. And
Avant-garde clear.
Sometimes it takes a while for art to grow on you. You've got to look at it a couple times, and Bubba Blue has finally won my heart over, as they're just going to go for another play onto Kean here.
From avant-garde to on-guard, but this does mean that the Nautilus will go down. They trade it 1-for-1, as Hot is going to get a little excited here, still blasting away from downtown. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, as we've talked about. The next target going to be this Maokai, who gets slowed up and is running out of places to run. Froggy able to get that kill, and Farmingdale is just routing Kean right now.
Despite the kill score, right, being 12-6, gold is still relatively manageable for Kean, right? Like, it's only 1,000 down here.
It's all on Jace.
Obviously, the Rift Herald is going to go down here, and it's going to put a little bit more extra gold into Farmingdale's pockets once they use this, take a turret down. But realistically, Nico's got 3 kills. Jace has a couple kills to his name. Sifir's doing, okay, given what's kind of happened to Hot and how many kills have been donated over to him. Like, realistically, there is a world where they catch out the Jinx. They're able to blow her up immediately, and then you've got a numbers advantage.
Yeah, but Shibby, there's one problem here, right? And we, the gold difference, obviously, you see more gold go into the pocket of Knight. But Kean, they're bleeding out, and they need their top laner who's got all this gold to help them out. They're bleeding deathly from their right leg, and the tourniquet's on the left leg. He's in the bot lane. There's not even a turret left. He's able to kill Froggy. He'll get me to shut my mouth here. He's going to leap right on top of him. Oh, don't tell me he's going to get 1v1. Froggy, you want to get out of there. Whoa. Super Mega Death Rocket just barely missing, but listen, when your top laner is that far ahead and can't get the job done, that is not a good sign.
Oh!
He's going to kill him with that. Lands the hook, the heal goes out, so does Ignite. They're going to turn it around, and they're going to be able to take out the Nautilus. Knight getting yet another kill and more gold into his pocket.
Tsuchima doing a little bit of happy gaming. Didn't expect a whole ton of Kean members there ready to catch him. I like to play. I like the gusto. But you're still not out of it, right? Gold even now. Like you said, a lot of that sequestered onto Knight there in the top side. But I think this duo, these solo lanes of Boat and Knight, can definitely get the job done. But French Delta Force looking for his turn on the enemy mid laner. Let's see if he can get the job done. Nope. Nope.
I'm so surprised. I'm so shocked that the Nico ran away from the Darius, who has so many ways to take down a Nico and CC them, such as apprehend. That's it.
Yeah, well, at least you got a ton of damage, right?
Yeah, I mean, never just getting close here, but see if the teams get close, because
whoa!
The nice landed there, and this Leona could find themselves in a little bit of trouble, forced to flash away. As Bubble Blue want to do more, going to get the Solar Flare out as well. Here come the Maokai roots. Potential turn here, but they just don't have enough damage. Knight didn't really do too much to Bubble Blue.
This is a suspicious hook, right? I want to be real. That got curved around, and it
That was
caught him.
suspicious. That was a high-level hook.
Yeah, there you go. Curve the hook here as Farmingdale are going to drop this Herald.
Are
30
they gonna get
seconds.
in the Herald?
Somebody get in. Somebody drive.
Yep.
Yeah! No!
Oh, you're going the wrong way. Oh, he's bringing it back. There we go. Good job.
Doing
You did
donuts.
pass your driver's test. The driving instructor was looking at you with a little bit of a side eye as you went on to the curb, but everything was okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. I still hold the fact junglers should be the ones driving Rift Heralds and only junglers. Is right now, you've got 5 members of Kean waffling about. Like, they're just in the bottom side of the map. They're going to pick up the dragon, but they're going to lose mid-tier 2. That's a jinx, guys. Well, maybe not. It's a PD rush jinx. Sorry. Maybe they won't
You're
lose
still
it.
going to
They
lose it
should.
anyway.
They should, but it's not going to be as fast as I thought it would.
No, it's certainly not, but that's going to be a lot of gold over to the usual suspects of Farmingdale. They're going to try to rotate this into the top lane. I don't know if they'll be able to get that one like the play they made in game 1, but you can see this team just plays the map pretty intelligently. Ultimately decided they don't need that dragon.
It is one singular ocean. There's no soul point. Nothing's going to happen. They opt in for gold onto the map. They also got tier 1 for French Delta Force here. And now they might
Try
end
to
up
make a play.
picking up tier 2.
Come the roots out from the Maokai. Gonna nail 2 members here as Bubble Blue's gonna find himself in trouble. So is Nautilus. He goes down. Hot Blossom inside the Cataclysm, but Hot is able to free fire and picks up the kill. Not able to continue the fight. It ends up just being a 1-for-1.
Yeah, that's pretty good if you are on the losing side, right? For Kean, a 1-for-1 is very good. Let's see if they're able to make anything of it. French Delta Force, another tier 1 in his back pocket here. Has picked up top, has picked up bot. Understands like, hey, I wasn't allowed to lane. I'm just going to be a menace in the side lane, right? I am just going to force somebody to match me. And I like that from Farmingdale. Just being like, you know what? We win the 4v5. Let's get French some gold. Let's allow them to like drive and get one of these members from Kean, either Knight, either Boat Chicken here, away and to match him. And that's going to put a lot of that team fight power into the side lane. Farmingdale playing the map the way they know how and doing a really good job, right? Tier 2 mid gone, tier 2 top has been pressured, tier 2 bottom's probably going to be put under a lot of pressure, and right now with no real objectives to fight over, and I think they're not going to pull the trigger on this Baron because they don't feel far ahead enough. They might just look to pull around Kean like they were doing last game.
Yeah, and Farmingdale's expanded the gold lead, right? Remember when the gold was even? There wasn't even that big of a fight that broke out that really caused Farmingdale to have the gold tilt in their favor so much. They've been just kind of dinking and dunking and nickel and diming the side of Kean, and in the blink of an eye, it's like, oh man, we're down a couple thousand gold. You can see it in the items. Oriana's on 2 items. Jinx is on the IE spike now too. I mean, this next fight, Kean needs to be very, very careful around these spikes.
Yeah, Hot actually does damage now, right? Like he's got
Finally.
he could just rip through these team fights, especially if you've got Froggy hitting 3 4-man shockwaves like he did way earlier in this game in the bottom side to kind of even up the gold. Right now, I think Farmingdale should rip the Baron. They're in a comfortable gold lead. They can kind of start and stop as they please here and use the Baron as a team fighting tool. That's what a lot of higher level teams will do. Let's see if Farmingdale can identify that or if they're just going to kind of ping pong waves back and forth until a big fight.
Well, they're going to catch out a very key member. Gary goes down. Malcolm going to try to root up a couple members. The Cataclysm goes down. Knight forced to flash out. 2 big flashes. Knight going to get knocked up. He's going to get flashed on, engaged on, and he's going to go down. It's a shutdown for French Delta Force, who gets his revenge. A double kill for French Delta Force.
And they are just going to wait around until a fight breaks out. And you know what? Even though if you don't kill the jungler, Baron should still be up on the menu. Farmingdale with 3 kills in that fight. 5 members still very healthy enough to take this Baron. 22 minutes into the game, it should be theirs, and I don't think Kean have really anything to say about it.
No, they really don't. Should be, at the very least, this game is likely to be longer than game 1, but Kean, a ferocity in the early game that was unmatched, but I have to say, very disappointed with Knight. Knight hasn't even finished stacking the tier item, but had the lead and wasn't able to do anything with it. You talked about it with Jace.
Yeah, like I said, it's being able to execute later on to the game. Lane chase is the easier part, in my opinion, right? Especially into a melee matchup. You know what you need to do. It's very simple, very bread and butter, but navigating it into the mid-game after the 14-minute mark. How are you impacting team fights? Are you getting down explosive shock blasts onto the right target? Shouldn't be the Nautilus, it's got to be the carries.
Here we go. There's a great Cataclysm on the backside. And Oriana get there. Did quite a bit of damage. The Super Mega Death Rocket came out. Hot unable to pick up anymore, but look on the backside. Darius trying to chop down the tree. It's a 1-for-1 for right now, but it might not be for too much longer. French Delta Force is sprinting, but the tree's got moves. It's got baroned up minions. Minions are going to start tanking, but French Delta Force could find himself near a lot of enemies. That said, it just means that Farmingdale is able to take yet another objective. These structures not going to last for too much longer.
Yeah, Hot takes a shock blast to the face, eats it like it was a breakfast sandwich, and it's completely fine, right? Like
Bacon, egg, and cheese?
Yep. The Aki way.
Sure.
As now they're going to take this dragon the Farmingdale way. Just slamming this objective without really any contest from Kean here. You can't really do much. You've kind of lost your window to do things, right? You had a pretty solid, solo lane power spike coming out from Knight, coming out from Boat Chicken. There were opportunities for you to make plays onto the backline with this Sivir. But unfortunately, you just weren't able to find them. And now Farmingdale, you've gotten 25 minutes into the game, and you're facing a Jinx, an Oriana. These guys have scaled up properly. Jinx backed with a full Lord Dominic's here. Like, he's 3 items. Like, you're not going to be able to fight this anymore unless you find a Shock Blast into a Pop Blossom, into a massive kill onto Hot very early on in these fights. You've got to look for him, or you've got to try to find her out of position. But Hot has been doing a really good job dancing through the range of Kean University here.
Oh, and by the way, Flash and Cleanse available for Hot.
Exactly.
So it's going to be very, very difficult. Maokai ultimate going to come down, going to try to turn this around, but the Jinx Chompers root up any follow-up engage to be had. Froggy is in the area outside of Vision. Shockwave available too. Ready to go, ready to pull the trigger. They're going to engage onto the Maokai. Balls in the area. You're going to see Jarvan get onto the back line. Jarvan do what he can. Great. Cataclysm lands on a multiple. There's a big Pop Blossom, but it's just too much damage for Kean to handle. It's a triple kill for Hot. It's a kill to top it off for Bubba Blue. And that is an ace for Farmingdale. They only lose Zukima.
Yeah, the reset coming in for Jinx here. Hot just running a clinic. 10-0-11, and this should be the game end here. It's only Stargy up here on the Leona, but they're going to play it safe. They're going to opt in to take double inhibitor here. I feel like you can just go for the end, but the wave's not there, so instead you're going to opt in for double inhib. You're going to back with a ton of gold in your pocket, and surely when they all congregate down to that bottom lane as 5 members here, Farmingdale should be ending the game. They're going to back, cash in their pockets, and look to end. 26 minutes in, and 10,000 gold once again in the lead for Farmingdale.
Impressive resilience shown by Farmingdale in this game. Going down early, not just in the top lane, but solo kill in the mid lane for Boat Chicken. Bubba Blue just didn't look like they were connected to the game at all, to be quite frank. And in the bot lane, there wasn't really much that Hot and Zukima were actually getting done, right? They were still performing as expected, but they were just there, right? And with everything else falling apart around you, that's not where you want to be as a bot lane. But the rest of the top side shored themselves up. They're looking to cruise to a victory here, Shibby.
Gonna go for a 4-1 split. I lied. They're gonna go for an engage.
Yep, they're gonna find this Maokai, and he's gonna get blown up. It's gonna be a second kill for the Jinx. Can they find any more? That pentakill clock is currently ticking. I don't think they'll be able to find anything more. French Delta Force not quite with the team yet. He's gonna escort that wave into the bottom turret. They're gonna take out that last inhibitor turret.
It's gonna give him double supers here and a nice shock blast, but unfortunately, they just can't follow up on it. Hot will still be able to auto away, rifling down these inhibitors, and another fight, potentially a last-ditch effort. Realistically, though, Farmingdale, they're going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, Nico's Blossom got popped there in an instant. And this is going to be the next turret's falling. This is going to be Farmingdale taking a 2-0 series lead and putting themselves on match point.
27.5-minute victory here. Not as quick as game 1, but unfortunately...
I gotta check my local weather report real quick. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Farmingdale's game absolutely potentially knocking out Yanni's internet here.
No, that wasn't a meme. I just didn't have a meme. I thought somebody was moving their trash cans outside, and I'm like, they've been moving their trash cans for a long time. It's been like 2 fights since they started moving their trash cans around, but no, that is just very, very loud thunder. Sorry about that, but maybe it was just Farmingdale, right? And what they brought to the table, and those Orianna shockwaves and the Jinx rockets and the cataclysms from Bubble Blue were just on point.
Yeah, I think Froggy just kind of turned the game on its head. It was funny because the Orianna was banned out after the way was picked. Maybe Kean got to ban this Orianna because Froggy hit an insane ultimate right early on when they were down 2,000 gold in the bot side. They turn a fight around. It was a 3-man shockwave, and it was just done. It was just done, right? Like then this momentum started picking up in Farmingdale's favor. Hot started picking up some kills. Bubba started picking up a couple kills here, and that composition, right? The overnight delivery, ball delivery system for Farmingdale. Absolutely bread and butter combos here. And even French Delta Force, who had a rough time in that top side, was able to come back and participate and actually get some resets and dunks onto key members of Kean University.
Yeah, he came on strong near the end of the game. You saw he was starting to deal a little bit more damage, and credit to Farmingdale. They said, this is our guy. We're going to let him farm up. He's going to have a good time. We will take care of the rest. And on the other side, Kean, they just couldn't translate the early lead that they had. We'll see if they're going to be able to play a similar composition to that, see some success elsewhere. They will be choosing blue for game 3. But before all that, we're going to take a very short break. And when we return, it could be the final game of this best-of-5 series with Farmingdale looking to send themselves to the finals, and Kean just looking to force a game 4. Welcome back, everybody, to the ECAC Elite League semifinals between Kean University and Farmingdale State College. Shibby, listen, Kean University, I don't know what they got to do, but they got to do something. They got to win a game, actually. That's what I know they have to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's
high level analysis from me.
That's the truth, unfortunately, right? Like, that is just, it is what it is. You got to win a game. You are down 0-2. Every game matters. Farmingdale is in a very comfortable position. They can win 1 out of the next 3, and they'll make themselves into the grand finals. Farmingdale have just been playing like a well-oiled machine, though. And I think the consistent thing about their gameplay that I've been impressed with is the fact that they are willing to move around the map as a unit and understand, hey, we're going to give you Dragon, but it's not a fair trade, right? It's like when you trade with your uncle. He's like, all right, I'll give you $5 if you give me that whole box of candy you got. It's like, oh, did I win? Did I lose? No, we took your tower. We took all your jungle camps. We took tier 2 in the top. We didn't, it wasn't a fair trade. You got the Dragon, but I got so much more. I got the shiny Charizard. You got the Bellsprout.
I was going to say the exact same thing, right? You trade your Charizard for like a Squirtle, right? Or something crazy. Or, you know, or you trade, let's see, what are we trading here? You trade away your Mox Ruby for those who play Magic. Your Mox Ruby, you trade this away and you get Aaron Baines. That's not really the greatest trade. I'm going to be honest.
That's a horrible trade. I would never make that in the history of trades. Is Farmingdale and Kean are into the draft here, and they've traded sides. Kean on the blue side, Farmingdale.
Who got the Aaron Baines side?
On the red side. I mean, we'll see once these drafts end up happening. Is Viego is going to be banned away. Let's see if Farmingdale actually end up swapping their strategy a little bit because they are on the red side. But it feels like they've got a good bead on both what Kean wants to play, but also fitting the champions that they want to play against Kean, right? I think that's the big thing is they ran a very different composition in game 1, where it's more shield heavy, more skirmishy, you know, drawn out fights. Game 2, they went for like team fight, right? The ball delivery system, Orianna, Jarvan. Now let's see if they can actually adapt again and give us something new here, or if they're just going to not try and reveal too many strategies into Kean, as they are probably prepping for grand finals as well.
Yeah, and let's be honest here, Shibby. You know, talking about that point where they went like with team fight versus team fight, they answered Kean's team fight with team fight. They said, we don't care. Like, they went, all right, well, we first picked Nautilus, we go into Maokai Leona. Okay, we're going to pick Orianna on our rotation on the other side. And then Kean came out of the gate with the Nico, and Farmingdale said, okay, you've got Maokai Leona, Nico. Well, we don't care. We have Orianna, Jarvan, you know, pair it up with the Nautilus. Like, they just said, we don't care. You got these champions first. This is what you want to play. Fine, we'll play it and we'll do it better. And so far, so good for Farmingdale. Kean, they need to. I feel like they got to get into the madness, dig deep into the pockets, try to figure out something.
Farmingdale are going to ban away that Nautilus. The B1 is what they've been doing pretty frequently, and that's going to leave open the Jinx. So Hot will have to rush PD on another 80 carry here. Who will it be? I don't know. As Caitlyn is going to get locked in here. A different look. Lane dominance, right? Not to say that Jinx isn't that good in lane by any means, as the Rockets, as the push, but Caitlyn's a different kind of beast. It's a different monster to pilot this champion and get the early game lead you need, and to put the other 80 carry down as much as possible. Ahri is going to be locked in potentially for Froggy here. Has played 3 different mid laners now. The Hui, the Orianna, and now the Ahri. Has the meta wheelhouse in his favor, as Kean might answer back. Boat Chicken did an admirable job on the Nico, at least in lane. Was getting solo kills, was fighting the engages. Just didn't really have anybody else to go with. Guys, lock the Nico Nocturne. It's a proven combo.
You know, that would be a pretty good idea. I think that should be what they want to do. You know, it's kind of hard, right? Because Wana had a much better time on a full tank, but at the same time, you mentioned how good that combo is. It's really undeniable. If they want to go back to the Maokai here, I won't be too mad at it. which is what they are going to do. It gives them pretty good setup for these fights. We'll see if Farmingdale, though, responds, right? They're now seeing Nico and Maokai if they want to go back to, like, all right, well, we'll just see you in the team fights then, bro. Like, see me at the flagpole after school, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, pretty much, right? After school is where Kean is going to meet Farmingdale. Right now is the Volley Bear. Is a flex pick, can go into French Delta Force's hands or Bubba Blue here. Ari, Volley Bear, pretty strong 2v2, right? The flash stun into charm, into confirm kill. We've seen it time and time again. I do want to touch upon that point where it is some setup, it is some combo. Realistically, I feel like Wana on this Maokai wasn't getting the ultimates you needed for Boat Chicken to do stuff, right? He was throwing them down, and Farmingdale just kind of walked away, or they would just stack up in a line, and the tank would get hit by one route, and they would be ready to go. It feels too slow of an engage for me, but realistically, if that's what they're comfortable with, if they want that kind of space creation that the Maokai ultimate gives, that buys time as well, why not, right? He did have a better time on it, as we do see some popular support pairings are getting banned away here. The Lux being removed specifically. Aatrox, again, not allowed in French Delta Force's hands. While Farmingdale are going to opt in to remove the Milio, weirdly enough. Usually Milio is actually pretty good into Maokai, so I would have picked that for myself. But Farmingdale, they know something we don't. Maybe they think Jinx Milio is just too strong on Kane's side. The extended range plus rockets might just give him that edge over Caitlyn.
Maybe they just didn't want to pick Milio at all, Shibby. Maybe they decided they want to go with something that's a little bit better. I don't know if there's much better than Milio Caitlyn. They are going to go with the Bard Caitlyn here. That's a pretty solid combo. I think it actually has a little bit more kill threat. You've got the CC with the Bard Q, couple that up with the Caitlyn traps, and a nice touch of ability to be able to roam and do what Farmingdale does best. Group up, make plays together.
I think always the good thing to note, and the reason Bard has kind of been slowly rising in popularity, I feel like their pick rate is definitely tied over. There's no way we blind Vayne. There's no way we blind Vayne top here.
I mean, if you're not going to do it in the first 2 games, like when are you actually going to do it?
Should have done it when you had the counter pick.
Are you just going to hold on to it, be like, I've got the pick. It's right here. Oh, you're not ready for it, but pull out the Camille.
So that's a better blindable champion here. Are some solid matchups able to play. We've seen Cassante as an answer. Let's see if French Delta Force ends up playing that. Darius is a much more aggressive answer. Will be doable if your jungler doesn't just give double buffs away again. I'm looking at you, Bubba Blue. But the point I wanted to make with the Bard is that it's almost parallel, their pick rate, when it comes to immobile AD carries or scaling AD carries coming back into play. You saw it when Varus was in. You saw it when Jinx is coming in. The ability to just throw an ultimate down and effectively burn a ghost, burn a flash every, 110 seconds, 90 seconds. That's invaluable, and that's what Bard is really good at into these immobile AD carries. Because once that ultimate's down and it hits you, you've got a Caitlyn trap, you've got Ari, you've got Volley Bear ready to pounce here, and you're kind of just waiting your doom as the rest of the team catches up to you. So the pick potential is what I'm looking for. Farmingdale, once again, giving us a different look. They ran a long, drawn-out healing, shielding teamfight composition in Game 1. They ran a very heavy combo bread and butter teamfight composition in Game 2. And now in Game 3, they've got a pick composition. They've got Volley Bear, they've got Ari, and they've got Bard. They're looking to find out the wrong member in the wrong part of town and make sure that he never comes back again.
And guess what? Not a lot of these members have the ability to escape, right? Maokai, not a champion known for his escapability. Nico, Jinx, Lulu. The only one you have is Camille, right? Because you can hook shot to a wall and go right over. But, I mean, everybody else, they're just going to be stuck. These Bard ultimates are going to be hitting 3 or 4 people because they just don't have the ability to move.
Yeah, you can try to be a little tricky with the Nico ultimate shenanigans or Nico clone shenanigans, right? You can kind of stay out, hidden out of position. But yeah, Gary is not going to have a fun time. I know you're going to have polymorph coming out of the ultimate, right? Coming out of the Bard stasis. But realistically, if there's just enough damage piled on, it doesn't matter, right? How well you're playing Lulu, how many shields, who you polymorph. it's going to be very important for Gary to be in position and ready to go. I'm hoping we see Flash Ghost here as we get into the final potential game of this series between Farmingdale State Rams and Kean University. Yanni, are you expecting something different? What do you want to see? This team composition doesn't scream early game to me.
It doesn't. It doesn't scream early game to me. I want to see Knight get another huge lead and just do something with it, right? Just please do something with it. You know, I don't know what it is, but something. I just don't really have a good answer. Get a lead, just snowball your lane, and spill it over into your other lanes.
A little bit of trickery going on. I like that from Boat Chicken. Putting out Wunan, disguising himself as Maokai in the top side and purposely showing himself to Bubba Blue to potentially give false information that jungle is starting top side. Don't know if Farmingdale is thinking that far ahead, but on paper, you would take it as face value, right? You'd be like, oh, Maokai starting blue, bot lane, he's going to path towards you. But in reality, French Delta Force is going to be the one that's going to be path towards. Oh, this will just give it away immediately, I think, though, right?
Probably. One slight programming note is that in our other semifinals match, Southeast Missouri State University are up 2-0 against Brooklyn Gold. The winner of that match will face the winner of this one. So, Shibby, we can get 2 straight 3-0s, right? And these teams will meet next week in the finals.
Yeah, if everything goes Farmingdale's way, then they will potentially meet, or let's see if Kean University can get back into the groove. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for you to get awake here, as right now, Kean University's topside is being pillaged by Bubba Blue on this volley bear. Really fast clear times as he's just yoinking the top side of the jungle. And I don't think Wunan knows his
Fights break up. Full bleed onto the Camille. See if French Delta Force can do anything. He misses the decimate. He will not heal. Knight just waiting for cooldowns to come back. This ghost is about to run out, and it'll be first blood for Knight. I'm surprised that French Delta Force didn't try to flash away.
Yeah, maybe he thought the hook shot follow may have come up. I don't know. I thought he was going to try to flash it too. Top lane skirmish. If you're not fighting at level 1, 2, are you really a Darius player? There's a bot lane skirmish happens as well. Maokai looking for a gank here. Cleanse does get burned by Hot, but realistically, you're fine with that. You're A-okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Things are okay. And that's really all you want, right? If you are Kean, right? Everything's fine. Everything's chill. Everything's relaxed.
Especially if you have that Jinx Lulu composition. You want to try to take things slow. You want to farm it out, right? Because Caitlyn, not the kind of champion to really, scale well into the late game. As Bubba Blue is going to take a top lane gank.
Yeah, we'll see if Camille is able to find their way out. No flash available. Teleport's not going to do you much good here. It looks like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Wait for those cooldowns to come back up. Maybe you can do something to the Darius, who is getting quite low. Maokai in the area trying to help, but now may have just put themselves in a bad spot. Good stun. Equalizes to the knockback there. One more auto. Should be able to get it done. Flash for Flash, and he flashes too late. It'll be a double kill for Bubble Blue.
You cannot flash autos. I know. I've tried it thousands of times. Unfortunately, not possible here. And one not respecting it. And another top lane gank.
Here we go. Round 2, baby. And Knight has no summoners, as we mentioned before, but is able to get the shutdown in the 2v1, but will fall to French Delta Force all the same, and is going to lose out on a huge wave.
Yeah, that 1-for-1, you give that over, right? Buffs, I believe, go in the favor of French Delta Force. Big wave. Wunon's going to have to pick that up. Knight, 2-2 on the Camille, but definitely starving as he's going to take the long walk of shame back to lane here. And nearly 5 minutes in, a lot of blood has been shed so far. 6 kills.
It's a lot of kills. Honestly, there's no other way to put it, and all of them have been occurring on the top side of the map.
Well, you look at Bo Chicken also got a kill in the mid lane, right? Was able to solo kill Froggy.
Yeah, Bo Chicken, the solo kill menace, honestly. Might be down in CS, but he has been getting the job done in the mid lane in terms of kills.
See if they can translate some of those solo lane advantages, like you mentioned, into team fight wins, right? That's been the biggest problem for Kean. They weren't able to do it last game. Let's see if they can kind of get things going. They've got to look for stuff, right? The big thing is they got to be proactive, and I feel like in that scenario, Farmingdale has just been the better team at finding opportunities. As now you mentioned the Bard, are they going to portal over or portal through and get this kill? I feel like he's just too far pushed back.
Yeah, although Froggy is level 6 if they wanted to go try something, but team's already long gone. They're going to set their sights on the Dragon, so just another trade of grubs for Dragon. Meanwhile, topside's going to be a solo kill for Knight. It was now 3 and 2.
Yeah, you know how scary Camille's can get, right? Tons of gold in their pocket. They scale very well. They do a ton of damage. The true damage on the auto, the Q is just crazy, and it'd be really hard to find somebody to match this Camille later on in the game if this is how the lane keeps going. If more kills come in, more plate gold, more minions, Knight can do a lot more on the Camille than they can on the Jace, right? A lot, I'm not going to say necessarily easier champion to pilot, but definitely a lot of bread and butter combos that you can jump onto Hot, onto potentially Froggy there with the Hextech ultimatum and just kind of single somebody out and say, you're with me, I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah, a little bit more slippery of a champion as well. Can attack from a lot of different angles, right? As Caitlyn will have a very difficult time trying to put distance between themselves and Camille. That's just not how those champions interact.
No, not at all. Is Bubba Blue doing his best to impact some of the lanes? Here, we'll see if he pays some focus down to the bot lane. You know, one of my biggest gripes is when you pick a Caitlyn lane and you don't play towards it, right? You just assume that it's going to have priority.
Flash Q doesn't land. Nice flash polymorph there by the Lulu means that this potential engage is snuffed out.
Ghost Flash burn on the side of Kane's
Oh, here we
bot
go.
lane. Oh, another regank!
A big double root coming out with those Jinx Chompers, and now potential turn onto the Volibear here, who is quite low. The damage from the Caitlyn is not enough, and here comes Bo Chicken on the backside. Are they going to be able to land the root? Instant cleanse here from Hot, but still, it's Kean coming out on top here. A potential dive, perhaps.
Yeah, why not? You've still got ultimate available. Pop
He
blossom.
cleared the
Let's see
wave.
how it goes.
Let's see, full tank here, good flash. Hot trying to find a way out, gets polymorphed, the headshot procs, but ends up going down. And still tanking this up, but it ends up being a double kill for the Bard. Overall, I think he'll actually take that.
Yeah, 2 kills over the Bard, not the scariest, but Froggy has had some alone time. And brother, they haven't backed it. They tried to get the wave in, and Bubba Blue is back in action.
Let's see if Bubba Blue can make anything happen. We'll force another summoner. So no summoners available for the bot lane of Kean.
Whoa!
No top laner available for the top lane of Farmingdale.
Yeah, this game back and forth right now. Kean doing a really good job just stretching out their leads and trying to just find advantages. I mean, Knight found their own advantages, right? Game 2, they did the same thing on the Jace. In Game 3, now just putting pressure onto French Delta Force and creating this chasm, this black hole of you have to answer me or I am just going to carry this game.
Yeah, it is a dangerous world that Farmingdale is living in. Only down about 600 gold, but that can quickly spiral out of control, Shibby. Just to take stock of the situations here. That's going to be a Trinity Force finished for Knight. Nobody else is really on the path of completing the
9
first
minutes.
item quite yet. It's a 9-minute Trinity Force, which means as long as Knight can transfer this lead somewhere else, Kean is in great shape. Bar Ultimate coming out, it's not going to land. Boat Chicken out to the side, but we'll be A-okay. And look where Knight's going. Knight is just going to top lane.
Yeah, he's not going to even try to contest these grubs here. I feel like it'd be so valuable for Kean University, right? You've got Camille in a side wave, you can get the potential 5-6 stack, but instead, you're opting in to play a selfish game, not even trying to opt in for the 3v4. I get it, you don't have numbers, but you are so strong on this Camille. Why not?
And you know what happened on the last game? You had a lead, you weren't able to convert it, and you're already down 2-0. I mean, maybe they feel like they're in a position where, hey, I've got a lead, I don't want to throw this, I want to make sure we go to game 4, but you have to wonder, Shibby, what could have potentially been.
Risk-averse gameplay, I think for me, doesn't signal a team that wants to win necessarily as a top lane gank comes in.
Yeah, Knights held the second part of the hook shot, but look, oh my god, the chunk. Stay away from this guy. Ari on the way up. Maokai dropping the ultimate down. Not sure if it's going to catch anybody. Boat Chicken is here. It does end up catching the Darius, but a little too close to the turret for anything to actually happen.
Camille just does too much damage. I don't think Volley and Darius, unless they get a clean kind of combo onto him.
Oh my god. There we go. Nice CC combo here. Pop Blossom out. The shield is there. Turning around. Boat Chicken goes down. It's a 3v2 for right now. Now it's a 2v2 as there's just not enough damage coming out from Froggy here. Let's see if Knight wants to go for anything more. Lying in wait along with the Maokai. Charm going out, chunking him out. Do they know if Camille's here? Camille now reveals themselves. He's going to tank one turret shot. Get Froggy down to half HP. Moving the bottom lane. Ace in the hole lands. It doesn't take out Gary. Misses the pilt over Peacemaker, but still manages to find the kill with the net. The heal comes out. And there is the Bard ultimate. This one should land, and it will. A double kill on the bot lane, but Knights manages to find another one in the top lane.
Yeah, it's a battle of the bottom lane versus the top lane. Farmingdale, hot, not on this Jinx, but on the Caitlyn, putting in work right now as we'll get that recall off. Oh, Boat almost. Storm Razor completed at the 12-minute mark, and now, I don't know if this is a 1v1 that you can win, Boat. This is a volley bear. He heals a lot.
Yeah, but he's ignited, so that heal is not nearly as much, but he still manages to get the 1v1 done. Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't land, but Knight is looking to pick up yet another kill on a teleport. Instead, pulls off.
Yeah, I don't think he had sight of where Bubba Blue is. Instead, could opt in to potentially kill French in the mid lane.
Well, let's see if he's able to get the job done. He's done it multiple times already. But, French has a little bit of a buddy this time to try to keep him alive.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of swapping of lane assignments. Ari in the top side here, I think, just to catch up waves. And you're gonna realize Ari's been getting a lot of gold into her pockets, right? Not in the sense of kills, but with minions, with turret plating, and has put him well ahead of Boat Chicken, right? About 800 gold in his favor, and will impact some of these team fights later on. We said Farmingdale has gone for a different composition, has went for a pick composition look, so let's see if they can actually start executing on it. They were able to burst out Boat Chicken a couple times here and there, but if you don't have a plan to deal with Knight, if you can't burst them out, it's going to be really rough navigating some of these team fights, especially with the whole Hextech ultimatum giving you that invulnerability. Is a dive potentially coming in?
A great ultimate onto Knight, but he's trying to stick onto Hot. A nice flash with the cleanse as well. Potential turn here as the ghost has been popped by the Darius. Gonna get close, flash up lands onto the wrong target though. French is very low. Flashing away is the Jinx, but Knights is gonna go back in. First gonna target Bubble Blue. He will be able to do a lot of damage to him and take him out. Shutdown goes over to the Jinx, and now it's a 3v3, but French Delta Force can't get much closer. Hot trying to get closer and closer still to the right targets, but gets chunked by Knight. So much damage, you've got to be careful. Farmingdale playing very aggressively. Lulu can't take the portal. Hot is able to pick up that kill, and Farmingdale still getting more gold into their pockets.
Lulu, you've got to be 6 feet tall!
Big shutdown there from Knight. Now starting to translate that lead elsewhere, but up in the top lane, Froggy gets the 1v1 victory over Boat Chicken.
Chaos across Summoner's Rift right now. A solo kill for Froggy, but a ton of gold going into the pockets of Knight here. The single strongest member in the game. 3,000 gold nearly above their counterpart, and yet Farmingdale still have a marginal gold lead right now. Knight is trying to rectify his wrongs of game 2, saying, you know what, you're right. I was on the Jace, I had a big lead, I couldn't do anything. Let me impact the map. Let me cause chaos across the Rift here. Knight putting everybody in his backpack.
I didn't know that JDG Knight could play top lane, but this guy is certainly showing up looking like Knight from JDG. No longer on JDG as far as I know. And didn't he swap with the Yao? Isn't he on BLG now?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
there
It
we
was
go.
a mid for mid swap. It was a wife swap here. Is now
It was a
two
wife
members couldn't
swap.
take them down. Yeah,
See, many
four.
more can. The charm lands. That's what you need, but you can't get the secondary stun off, and he just doesn't take enough damage. Next target's going to be Bubble Blue, who gets rooted up. The Bard ultimate's going to come out, but that's not going to save you, Bubble Blue. Nobody can help him out. He will go down as Knight is just far too strong. You threw everything at him. It was nary a scratch, Shibby.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have the Caitlyn there as well. You couldn't get a potential trap combo right onto him, the E headshot, trap headshot, right, that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, you just don't have the burst available, and Farmingdale slowly losing grip of this game right now. Kean down 2-0. Have found the Camille as but the potential answer into French Delta Force, who realistically didn't have the best laning phases game too. So I'm glad they gave Knight something to kind of really push the envelope in that top side and really kind of exploit that a little bit.
Yeah, it's working quite well. It's putting them in a winning position here at 16 minutes into the game. And, you know, unsung hero Gary, who is also 3-1-1, it just feels like the entire team has kind of leveled up going into Game 3, not ready for their season to be over.
Not at all.
There's no
Knight's
turret
behind them.
Knight gets engaged on by Bubble Blue, but is that where you want to be, Bubble Blue? Is he's going to be the one to get stun locked up, takes a lot of damage, manages to flash away, and will survive for now.
Yeah, took a ton of damage and was still able to get work done. As now he's going to TP to the top side. He's like, you know what? Bot lane gank didn't work. I'm just the second jungler.
Well, French Delta Force, not sure if you're going to be able to do much here. It's going to make Maokai the target, but that burst damage is so much, and he cannot get closer to the Hextech Ultimatum. Knights going to get that kill.
And Unon's like, I did my job. I distracted you. I'm just bait, right? Swaying his hips back and forth as best the Maokai can, and Knight able to pick up that kill. Is now a potential dive.
It's doomed. It's so doomed. Look at the headshot proc, Shibby. Hot is able to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, fight on the other side. Bubble Blue trying to get close. He doesn't turn off the turret, though. He's going to go down, but the ace in the hole will trade. At least here's a nice charm coming through. As Maokai's going to be the next target. It's a triple kill for Caitlyn.
Hot just putting on a clinic, but the setup, the assist, right? The John Stockton of Fullerton, or Fullerton Farmingdale here. Tsushima on the bar, just setting everything up.
Blue Chicken unable to take that turret. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, they get this bot inner turret. It could do a lot for them, but doesn't look like they'll be able to. Actually, you know, they're going to go for it. They're going to commit to it. I really like this move. It's going to be 363 gold apiece for the AD carry and support of Farmingdale. They're back in the gold lead.
As we pan top, Darius dead T-pose. I don't think, you know, we're going to get quite tired of seeing that. I think we'll see a lot more. I'm not surprised. We're going to see a lot more, as now they're going to opt in to trade this Dragon Hextech Soul on the menu. Like we said, Tier 2 coming out for Kean, and unless Unon is the hero this team needs, is he going to be able to go in?
Well, let's see if he can make the play. He does. He does. It was the slowest smite I've ever seen, but he does. And here comes Bo Chicken in the area, but it was actually just a clone. That was a really nice move by Bo Chicken, because that scared me.
Yeah, probably scared Farmingdale here a little bit. And yeah, slowest smite I've ever seen as well. That was a battle of attrition. As you look at Unon, he's got Bammies and has just rushed into the Deadman's potential mid lane play.
I don't know about this one. Pop Blossom going to land onto the Volibear, and he gets bursted out, and this mid turret being very low means that Kean should be able to get more gold into their pockets and retake the gold lead.
Oh, why do you need this? Why do you need this, Unon? It's
He gets
just
ulted there.
chickens.
He gets the ultimate from the Lulu, but he is going to go down. Meanwhile, on the backside, Bo Chicken trying to just keep people away. Ace on the going to land. Not going to do a whole lot, but here comes Knight, as you said, level 13, sauntering around on Camille.
Boisterously, even, right?
That's a saunter, right? Camille's the way Camille walks. That's a saunter.
Yeah, 100%, 1,000. As Farmingdale don't really win the scaling war, right? Even gold right now against a Camille, against a Jinx, that's looking very good. That's definitely a saunter.
Yeah.
That is definitely
You know,
a saunter.
one thing,
Uh-oh.
I think I told
One
you this.
thing.
Never mind. One thing I don't know why, it doesn't even matter how hard you try, this Ari could find themselves in a little bit of trouble, or if you can buy enough time, it could be trouble for Knight. First Spirit Rush, second Spirit Rush used, and here comes the entire squad. Follow-up charm lands. This has to be the play that they make on tonight, who's desperately trying to get away, but is shut down. It goes over to Bubble Blue.
That might be the trigger for Baron. We saw it get stolen. The Dragon once before. Why not? Let it rip. Their strongest member is down for 30 seconds. Can you burst this Baron down in time? Bottom lane is getting pushed as well. No TP available for Delta Force. It's a 4v4. Boat Chicken waiting in the wings. Is he going to be able to get a massive Pop Blossom? They don't know he's there, Yanni.
Rift Herald dropped in the mid lane, which means they're going to pull off here, but here's Boat Chicken on the backside, pops your Blossom, takes you down. Bard Ultimate not going to hit anybody, and now Hot is in a compromising position, stuck in the back of the pit, forced to flash over the wall. Next target's going to be the Bard, who's able to find a way out, but Froggy was able to trade back onto the Nico. This Rift Herald is still up, and you see everything that the Darius laid waste to on the bottom side. No further charges coming out from the Rift Herald here.
Tier 3 taken by the Darius. Nice chunk of change in his pocket. Using the pressure gained from that pick on tonight to just keep pushing that bottom lane, forcing Kean into a position to make a play and make a decision. And now they're going to rip it. Everybody's almost reset onto the map. Farmingdale, I don't even think they know. They have a hunch, but can they check? Bard Ultimate isn't even available to stall it out.
They're going to need to try to do something here. Volibear is in the area. Teleport coming in from Froggy. Star is very low.
Both
Gary's
late.
low on mana and low on health. Here we go. Bubble Blue secures the Baron. Now, what can Knight do? Hextech Ultimatum lands. They're going to be able to take out the Darius, but not before he gets a dunk off. Manages to trade 1-for-1, but Froggy trying to go through. The CC lock isn't there. You just got to lock him down for one more. They manage to take him out. Charm goes down onto Boat Chicken, who's trying to get away. He hits the blast plant, but he goes down to Froggy. Star the next target. Ace in the hole. It doesn't matter how many shields you have. It's all Farmingdale here. 22.5 minutes in.
Game was looking grim. It was dead even for a while with Kean having a massive lead in the top side, but a Baron steal, a team fight win, a numbers advantage used expertly in Farmingdale are going to pick up the pieces, the scraps on the table, and make something of it now, finally busting this gold wide open in their favor. Nearly 7,000 gold for Farmingdale, and I don't know if the weight is too heavy for Knight now. I don't think anyone can carry this.
It's certainly going to be difficult, Chibi. On 3 items, it's just not enough at this point in time. I take a look at the gold differential. It's only 700 between the Knight and the highest on the other side. That's Hot. I mean, just up the rear is Froggy, who's also over 10K. We'll see if they're able to get a good pick here. Unan trying to get away, though, as they're turning around on him. He's going to drop the ultimate just to fully disengage, but this means that the Dragon will go to Farmingdale.
Yeah, resource battle 1.
Oh, no way!
That was a guess. There was no vision in there. He said, you know what? I'm in your mind. Right? I'm in your head.
He's downloaded him.
He's downloaded him, took the USB and stuck it directly in his ear socket. Says, you know what? I know where you are. I'm Santa Claus. I know where you're sleeping. Unan, unfortunately, goes down to Froggy here.
He could see through the forest and the trees.
And now, Kean University,
Gary?
at one point, look at Gary got it. He got it. Don't worry. Gary got it. He read the training manual. But Kean University were in a position, right? We were talking about them potentially taking it to game 4. They were so strong. Knight was 1v3ing, 1v4ing. But now Farmingdale have just wrestled control of this game.
Camille from the side, onto High. Manages to dodge out of the bar ultimate. This is disastrous. Pop Blossom lands onto 2, and it's Knight who's going unabated right now. Bard able to get through on the portal. Sorry, that's Volibear. Volibear able to hop over the wall, but here come the roots. Darius going to get rooted up. Knight is going to take the Hextech portal on the backside. The Hextech-hearted woman trying to get in, but that means they left odd members on the backside, and now Jinx had to get away and use Flash, and now they're portaling all around. Shimmy, do-si-do, around we go.
What are we doing?
What happened? And everybody's okay.
We're all good. 1 for 1 after all the madness. And people complained about Hextech Gates. They said they're OP. Well, you wouldn't have gotten this. What a fight. What a disaster for Farmingdale, right? Like the Bard ultimate comes in, Hot's left alone in a hot room with Camille in Hextech Ultimatum. Yeah, he hit everybody.
Everybody except the people you wanted it to hit.
Yeah, he got everybody except the most important member on Kean's side here, and
it's the Super
finally
Hextech
reset.
Ultimatum.
Yeah, it's the Thunderdome, you can call it. Hot, definitely screaming at his support. I know I would be, but Zakima probably not going to make that mistake. I would be so mad. We'll see Farmingdale look to find some picks here. Charm does go sway. Wait a minute.
Hits 2, pulls him out of the portal, but down goes Bo Chicken. The roots are going to come out too. It's going to be Maokai who gets rooted up, but no follow-up to be had.
All right, will that kill? Will that signal the potential to start pushing in some of these side waves? And right now, they haven't been able to crack open the base. Even that Baron that they ended up taking early on, you saw it really didn't take any turrets at all. They ended up getting a dragon and a really wacky fight for it on that bot side. As Knight is looking for something, right? He's creating some sort of pressure, but I don't think Farmingdale are that afraid of him anymore, right? Like realistically, obviously Hot has to be very afraid, right? The Caitlyn cannot be in melee range of the Camille, but other than that, the ability to lock him down and burst him out, you've seen they've been able to execute on it. They were stumbling a little bit early on, but they found out how to do it, and with enough burst damage coming out, this Camille is just irrelevant.
Yeah, if you have enough damage, Shibby, anything is possible. Knight just not being able to find a way in, trying to find a creative hook shot. It's just not there. Farmingdale playing very wisely, keeping Camille away at an arm's length, but it does mean that you're not able to take advantage of the siege that you have out of the Caitlyn.
Yeah, it is really rough. I mean, there is so much wave clear and the threat, right, of an individual jumping onto Caitlyn, jumping onto Froggy and potentially locking him down, who have been so crucial, right? Specifically Froggy, with these charms, is the reason these fights are being turned around. The resets are coming in with the Ahri. He's able to chase more. If he goes down, I fear that this next fight, Kean could just get in, and
Gonna try to get to the Ahri, but gets dragged to the rest of the team because of the Spirit Rush. What a board hold! It hits 3 members, following up with the Slam Jam. Gonna be a double knockup coming out, but it's not gonna matter. The rest of the team is gonna fall apart. Gary gets crit. He's gonna go down, ace in the hole on the side. Star G, the last one, wrap him up. Farmingdale, they just need to find a wave to be able to push it in, because there are some very long death timers here, Shibby. This could be the match.
Yeah, 20 seconds, 25 on to both the mid and AD carry here. Woon on 10 seconds as well. You got to go for the end. You've got Clayton. You've got all 5 members. Why not? And Farmingdale, after a shaky early game, a rocky start, they end up clawing their way back. Froggy and Tsushima just absolutely carrying game 3 here. Shoutouts to both of them. And Farmingdale will take the series 3-0 in a very commanding fashion. Game 1 and 2 ending in under 30 minutes, and even game 3, a little bit in that game timer. Very well played from them, and unfortunate for Kean, because it felt like they were finding their groove. It felt like it took a couple, games for the diesel engine to get rolling, and unfortunately it was too little too late. Congrats to Farmingdale, and that'll push them on to the grand finals. Kean will be in the 3rd and 4th place match, I believe. And Yanni, were you worried? Were you worried at all for game 3? Or did you think Farmingdale was able to do it? Did you believe, or were you worried?
I was a believer in Kean. I was a believer in Knight, because, listen, Knight just absolutely ridiculous on that Camille, able to just get the leads. And then being able to spread the love around like I said he needed to do in game 2, was able to do so in game 3, and unfortunately just trying to go after this Ahri. They dangled the Ahri like a piece of meat right in front of him. You got Spirit Rush. It's going to be very hard to catch that Ahri. Allowed enough time for the rest of the team to get there. And from there, it just felt like the game cascaded and got away from them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one man cannot carry a whole League of Legends team anymore here. And even on Camille, one of those champions that is known as like a hard carry threat, coordination from Farmingdale is able to pick apart Kean University, and gonna get set onto that grand finals. And it was a pretty interesting series, right? I was expecting the other games to go the way of game 1, the way Kean got crushed, but they made it competitive. Game 2, they looked pretty decent in the early game. Game 3, they kept it as best they could until the very end here, but a couple misplays, a couple mishaps, and unfortunately they go down. I have a feeling we'll see Kean back in this same spot or similar next year in Collegiate, because this is a team that's got a lot of good working parts that you can build upon.
Absolutely, Shibby. But for now, we celebrate Farmingdale, and in just a couple of moments, we'll celebrate Zukima, as they'll be here for an interview. Don't go anywhere. We'll have them real soon. Welcome back, everybody. What a series that was won by Farmingdale 3-0. And we have their support, Zukima, here with us for this beautiful interview. Thank you, Zukima, for gracing us with your presence, my friend. All right. So my first question, it's going to be the obvious one because it's the most recent one. That one fight in the bottom lane where you dropped the bar ultimate and hit yourself and I believe hit your support and left your Caitlyn all alone with the very, very fed Camille. I just want to know what the comms were like after that.
So I said explicitly, this is word for word. I went into that play and I was like, I'm gonna play this fight like Hilly sang and just completely throw it away to make the game harder. No, I'm kidding. I was just super, I was like, oh no, I fricked up for lack of a better word there. But like that was the one thing I was like, whenever you play Bard as a support in a game, you never want to have those moments where you get the ulti and you just mess up an entire fight. And it just happens sometimes. But
it's just so easy to have it happen at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to talk about maybe some of the prep coming in to Kean University. Obviously, you 2-0'd them in the regular season. Were you guys, or did you guys prep anything specific, right? It felt like the Jinx was a really big kind of a pick for you. You can also answer why Hot is rushing PD constantly on Jinx as well. I have my questions on that, but kind of answer the first one and then you maybe answer the second one.
Without leaking too much, yeah, I mean, we did a little prep. I mean, as far as like prep against certain teams goes, it's really just kind of looking at what they're proficient in as far as just like solo queue and stuff. And myself, and Froggy mostly have gotten really just really good at finding out how to do drafts, and I keep up on all the other pro leagues. I watch pretty much every single major region, so I know exactly what's being played and what's really good and what just gets like thrown out, even though there wasn't any change or anything either. So we're always try to be on top of what is actually good in the game itself, and on top and what our players are comfortable on as well. We never try to push our players onto things that they're very uncomfortable on in stage games, at the very least, stage games. But yeah, it's funny because our prep has been kind of terrible. We probably have like a 20 to 30% win rate in scrims leading up to this. So, but that's us. As somebody was telling me before, they heard that I was cooking on supports, and I don't want to say all of it's because of that, but it's we do a lot of trying things in scrims that we wouldn't actually just break out on stage.
That's pretty fair. That's what a lot of people end up doing. So, as a short follow up to that, without leaking too much, what is the craziest thing that you've tried in a scrim?
Me personally, or the
team?
As
a champion, you as a player individually, convince the team that this was good.
They're not. It's nothing really crazy this semester, at least. I mean, I broke out the Camille support a little bit, but that's made its way into meta. I've been, the Rumble support is something we've tried, I'll say. Just, I don't know. I don't think I've really done anything that's really fringe meta that I would be comfortable with, like, revealing. But
that's fair.
It's more cooking than the competition rather than the grand scheme. I'd say.
Yeah, that's fair.
Though our Senna pairings are a little spicy, so if we ever bring that out, you'll see some weird things.
Hopefully next week.
Yeah. Hopefully you maybe get your hands on the Senna. I think there's a lot of unexplored pairings in there. Final question from me. Looking into next week is perfect segue. Looking across the maybe bracket or looking at potential teams and face off, is it more important for you guys to focus on your own game, or come in with like set draft strategies, or are you guys kind of focusing on trying to, like you obviously said, like try to counter strat, potentially find advantages here and there? What has kind of been the success for Farmingdale this season?
So we're pretty good at sticking to the comps that we've really refined for ourselves. And like I said, that's the reason why our scrim win rate has been so terrible, is because we're really trying to practice things that we're not very comfortable on. And because of that, we're kind of banging our heads against a wall right now, and not a whole lot is changing, but I mean, you can only hope, because as it turns out with these leagues that we're playing in, if we just draft the meta stuff that we know that works for us, it's not really a big stress. And honestly, our comp in that last game is something that deviates from what we'd normally play.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'll
do
say
like
that
the
at
Bard
the very
adaptation.
least.
Yeah, I do like the Bard adaptation, right, into the immobile AD carry and looking to kind of pick them out there. But Yanni, final question from you.
Yeah, so you guys have had an undefeated season so far, looking to cap it off with a clean 3-0. What do you think has made you guys so successful in this league to not even drop an individual game when playing playing 2 series in the season against the team that finished second in your group?
I think one of the big things that we've had here pretty much over the past year at Farmingdale is we're very, very what's what I'm looking for? We're very momentum based. If we get our leads and we start playing our style and things go according to what we I guess consider our plan, we're very good at ending games and making the games go in our favor if we have that lead. So we've gotten just really really good at recognizing those win conditions and stuff. And even if you reference that last game, like maybe topside was a little shaky, but midway through the game, our AD carry stepped up. Our good boy Fabian, he stepped up and really kind of kicked us into gear and really explained how he wanted fights to be played, and it just ended up working out.
Fantastic
Perfect.
communication will result in wins, no matter how dire the situation. Tsukima, we would like to thank you for your time. Congratulations once again on your victory, and good luck next week.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, that will do it here for our broadcast over here at Esports U. However, we have some action going on tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., very early in the day. The ECC Brookland Finals will be starting. You'll see Rocket League, Overwatch, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate 1v1, and crew battles all capped off with some Valorant. Starting at 11 a.m., you got nothing to do during the day. Maybe you're cleaning the house up a little bit. Throw on the stream, turn your speakers up to 11, and come tune in. But that will do it here for us this evening. So for myself, my co-caster Shibby, for Observer Samantha, who is no longer in the Discord call, and for Leighton behind the glass, thank you all so much for being here with us this evening. And we hope to see you tomorrow for the ECC Brookland Finals.